Was this the value add that Kyle brought?
Yeah, doing the graphics and stuff. Actually, I did all these graphics. Well, no, I didn't do all these graphics. The church thing was somebody else's. But I did the meme. Yes, that meme is mine. I did it. Well, of course, it's a meme generator, and I just kind of photoshopped my head in on that. I'm practicing using GIMP. It's kind of a free version. And why am I looking up your nose, Brandon?
Yeah, it's streaming.
I'm looking at my screen, looking at all the notifications and stuff. That's why.
Oh, okay. Because I'm counting the number of nose hairs you have for some odd reason. 52, 53.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so a couple things are going on. One, we are streaming to Twitch, but we are not streaming to YouTube yet, and I'm not quite sure why. So I got to figure out. It says online too, so it is going. Oh, no, actually it is. I just have to figure out where it's going to. This is the weird thing when streaming to multiple places. It doesn't seem to actually go where it's like supposed to go.
Yeah, I just got the notification for YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's live there, but it's not going to where I set it up. So it's under multi-restreaming with IO. Yeah, no, it's live there, but I don't know. Now I got to edit that. Now I got to change the title of the video. This is really confusing people. Why does this do this? This is not the right title for this video.
It sounds like my young son going to the bathroom. The stream never goes where you want it to.
Yeah, well, it doesn't change when you get older either. Yeah. All right, I think I kind of fixed it.
Ew.
Yeah, well, you don't know the problems we have as men, okay? So okay, I think I fixed it. It is going somewhere on YouTube. I just changed the title, so hopefully that'll work. And it says we're going on Twitch as well. I'm trying to get people to follow me on Twitch. So it says,
yeah, I just got the Twitch notification, and it says you're playing Borderlands.
Yeah, I didn't update the thing. I just updated it information now. But is the show live?
Yeah, it's,
okay.
I got the notification. I'm not watching it. I could go on Twitch and see.
No, it says one viewer, so it's working over there. So, okay, so let's get this going here. Rum and Coke night. First things first. Yeah, go find me on Twitch and sign up for that, because it took out all my links for some reason on YouTube. I don't know why. So I'm going to put the Twitch link in, and you're just going to have to manually go check that out, if you would be so kind. So 1 second here. It's going to live chat. There you go. Thank you, live chatters. Go follow me on Twitch, because I need to get some views over there and get some airtime. So anyways, we got Milwaukee Atheist in here. We got Nikki. We got Han Sanitizer. And we have the lovely Vegan Atheist, which you guys don't know her.
Yes.
We've been keeping her a secret for personal reasons. And you're going to find out why when she starts talking to you and educates you on veganism. Is that your thing?
Yes.
Why is it just showing Brandon, by the way? Oh, there we go. Okay, you're talking. There we go. It's fixed. All right. Vegan.
I was about to say, apparently I don't matter, but whatever.
No, it's just for some reason it just fixates in you. I don't know why. It's weird.
Oh, it likes me. That's why.
It's because everyone else is muted.
Yeah, unmute. At least Vegan, is your mic working now?
I surely hope so.
Awesome. People may know you from Twitter, but they don't think they really know you from my channel.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. You want to say hi to everybody?
But they might have seen. Hi, everybody. You probably seen me on either Discord or Twitter. I'm normally arguing with strangers about either veganism or, atheism and stuff like that.
Thus the name Vegan Atheist. It kind of tells you all you need to know, right?
Yep. I choose those labels for a reason, and it's mostly because I hope I never have to use them in the future.
I see labels are important in some ways. People kind of bitch about, well, why do you care what people call you? It's like, well, because they kind of are descriptors, right? They're signifiers that tell people in a nutshell, this is my position, so you don't have to really explain things. Exactly. You hear the word vegan, you probably know the person's generally vegan. Now, you don't know if there is going to be, like what do they call it, pescatarian, or you don't know if they're going to drink milk, but you at least know that they're not going to eat meat, right?
Correct. And I think that there is, with all words, there is usages, and that's exactly what I'm using it for. I'm hoping that by putting it as my handle, it makes it so that I don't inject myself into conversations. Most of the time people approach me and ask me about veganism or atheism and things like that. And so it's helpful to start conversations I want to have.
All right. That sounds good to me. Are you drinking tonight, by the way?
No, we're just doing the agua.
Yeah, I'm going to mute you there, Brandon, real quick. Your mic is just
Lamb.
way too many noises. Just unmute to talk because you're moving it around. Well, yeah, it's rum and coconut. You don't have to drink. It's just kind of the preferred thing we do. I'm drinking soda tonight. So honestly, I'm not having any alcohol. It's just Shasta. So whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Am I really the only one drinking? Jesus.
Is that unusual? You're an alcoholic.
No.
I am not an
I am-
alcoholic. Are you serious? Steve?
I am always drinking.
He is out.
drinking
Yeah,
my
this is
favorite.
true. What are you drinking? Is that Royale or
It's
something?
Captain Morgan's Cannon Blast.
Ooh.
It's nice.
Delicious.
What the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah.
What is that?
What a pirate.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Show us that bottle.
And I'm gonna
Oh,
shout out.
goodness.
I want to shout out a few people real quick. Hellbound Heathens out there. Hey, Hellbound. Canadian Sisters joining us. I think. Well, she's been here before, but under different circumstances. So I'd like to welcome her back. So she wanted to apologize to somebody about something, and I think that's great. So appreciate that, Canadian Sister. And what else is going on? Oh yeah, well, the whole thing with babies and atheism is starting to come around again. Let me ask vegan atheist, because see, I could tell she's an atheist because it's in her name. It's kind of a giveaway, but I don't know what type of atheist because people get confused again about atheism, and so labels are important. But unfortunately, there's a lot of diversification of what that actually means or is used as. But do you think babies are atheist, vegan? Hi, Leslie. Oh, Leslie's out. You know what? Leslie gets moderation. Leslie gets. This could be dangerous, though. Should I give Leslie mods? Oh.
God damn it, Steve.
I
No.
I like to live dangerously. Have you
You
seen her?
have 80,000 fucking mods.
Have you seen her
Jesus.
hair? Her hair is so on fleek. It's ridiculous.
Delete somebody out of the mods then. Delete somebody else.
Well, who am I going to delete?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I got to give Lawrence mod too. There you go. You get a mod and you
How
get a
dare
mod.
you.
But anyways, vegan, your mic.
Yay.
Because I didn't hear her.
So your question is whether or not babies are atheists?
Yes.
God, this is such a weird debate.
It is such a weird debate. Like, who the fuck cares?
Oh, that was a big thing on
Steve
Twitter
cares.
about it.
It's a
Steve fucking
it's a popular argument that made popular by atheist YouTuber Bionic Dance, who argued for the longest time that babies were atheist, and people just seem to run with that, and I think it's really kind of stupid in many different ways. And Richard Dawkins just recently was talking to Alex O'Connor and said the same things, that we shouldn't attribute labels to babies because that's indoctrination. And I happen to agree with him. I think that you
Makes
can't.
sense to me.
Yeah, and so he's like, well, you have to be consistent. If you don't want babies to be called Catholic or this or that or theist because they don't have the ability to make up decisions for themselves, why would you label them atheists? I think that's a good argument, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that they don't really have the mental capacity in order to make a determination. So to me, it doesn't make any sense.
All right,
Maybe Christians find it easier that God killed so many babies by claiming they're atheist.
Oh, so like during the flood, that's just God killing atheists.
Sodom and
babies?
Gomorrah, firstborn.
Somebody asked if puppies atheist. Yeah. Well, if you think babies are atheists, and puppies would be atheists too, and so would quarks and stars and black holes. And,
Don't bring puppies into this.
Puppies.
Leave puppies out of this.
I love puppies.
And the wrath
man.
of the Bible.
But Nicole, puppies
I
lack
know you
belief in
love puppies.
gods.
I know you
I
love
do.
kicking puppies.
I like kicking puppies, but I do love
Yeah.
puppies.
Don't kick the puppies.
He kicks puppies and eats babies and all kinds of other
Ooh,
stuff.
I just saw a beard come on the screen. A glorious, glorious beard.
I just want to rub it.
Oh no.
There could be two beards, Steve.
Hey,
but
iconoclasm. They're sexually harassing you. Enjoy where you can.
It's
There's
not
a lot of
in short
hair in
supply
here,
when I'm
yeah.
on. Come on.
Brand is the
Only
only
with
one that's
consent.
left out. Like we all got hair.
Nicholas.
I have a full beard, but it's not
Alright,
that
there's
glorious.
too many men in here. This is sexist. We need more women representation, please.
I know.
God damn it.
Pro-feminism.
I can go put on my kilt. Does that work?
Yes.
Sure.
It does for me. I don't
I
know
want to
anyone
watch
else.
you put
You,
the
you,
kilt on.
you don't have anything, as long as you don't wear anything under it.
Let me watch.
Hey,
Let
you know
me
what?
watch.
That's a matter of choice, and don't you
Right.
dare tell me it doesn't make or it makes me not a true Scotsman.
It is a true Scotsman fallacy. Well, I tell you what, if you're wearing like what are those things called? They're like those bikini thingies, mankinis. If you're wearing a mankini under a kilt, then something's wrong. It's just got to go.
Yeah, you gotta be
free
naked.
ball. Yeah.
Gotta let them swang.
Yeah, dude. That's the only way to do it.
Somebody asked me.
I gotta show you the
wait.
pictures of me in a kilt. I rocked.
Oh my
Oh.
God! You're just getting Nikki all worked up for
You gotta
nothing.
see
here.
that.
And I had a broadsword. I did a wedding. It was a Scottish wedding. It was traditional. I had the sword. I had the purse thing. I had the only thing was they didn't let us into the church with the swords. That was I don't know what the issue was with that. But
See, this is why churches are evil.
I know.
Yeah, I think probably building
Just don't show us any upskirt.
bringing weapons into churches nowadays is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, but if you're going to
No.
be wearing a kilt in the middle of downtown Worcester at 2 p.m. on a Saturday,
Yes.
having a sword is a very good fucking idea.
That's probably true. Yeah. Somebody asked if I thought that quirks were sentient. No, I don't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry, I just don't. Let's see here, man. We are just getting all kinds of people showing up, even though it's like this is actually a low turnout because there's so many streams going on that I just spaced off. Usually we get about 300 people on a rum and coke, but you know what? This is a Sunday rum and coke, which is really odd for us. We usually do it on Saturdays, and it's a lot earlier than normal. But I was bored, and I've been sleeping like literally all day today or yesterday, so I was like, I need to do something. And then I ran into that conversation with atheist babies, and I thought we'd talk about that. And then to top it off, our buddy Nick here wrote something.
Well, I wrote something a while back. I had just a piece on Katie Paulson. That piece is now 3 months old, maybe. I got to write a new piece on it and just do a. I write. That's what I do. So I sit down and I did opinion pieces on various elements of non-sec, on various elements of, and I did one on her, and she needs a really good one. I need to sit down.
The one you wrote is a little antiquated.
Yeah,
but that's okay because you could do an appendum. But you released it because before you had it privated and we read it, but you released it, and so a lot of it still holds true. And I thought it'd be fine to kind of go over if you want.
Oh, I'd love to. I don't have I got some time, and then I can always come back too. But I can bring it up too. Let's see where it is.
Yeah, see if you can bring it up and screen share. It'd be great.
Yep, there you go.
And then I know the Goblin probably pop by here soon.
Hold on one
The
second.
Goblin?
Chesh.
Iconoclasm, you don't need to raise your hand. You just talk. This isn't school.
All right, you said you wanted me to.
What's up? Hang on. What's up, Iconoclasm? What you got?
That
For
with your
us?
opinion.
It's just your opinion, man.
Over these men. Yeah. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. Say it better.
Patriarchal
Steve.
bullshit.
That's just like
Come
your
on.
opinion, man.
No.
Who whip?
Just your
Let's,
opinion.
I learned how to say Cool whip.
relax.
By I can do Stewie. Cool whip. Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Intellectual Iconoclasm, what do you want to say? I'm waiting.
Cool whip.
I used to be one of Katie's mods, and the point at which I said some shit's not right was like seriously. One day she came out with the James Charles shit, saying, "Oh my God, look at what Toddy said. He's this horrible person." Over the weekend, he bounced back with some stuff, and it was the next day or over the weekend or something, and all of a sudden, James is this poor victim, and Toddy's just a clout chaser and a climber, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, it gave me pause to think. I'm like, when you switch your positions from one day to the next, and then she was at the time claiming to be a journalist who was just reading other gossip trash rags. Come the fuck on.
Yeah, it's funny, by the way, people thought Leslie asked if you're Smitty. I'm like, no, you're not Smitty. Smitty is one of my mods, though. But it's funny you mentioned that because I just had somebody else talk to me, and they were telling me that, and so they already knew, but they're like, Katie gets all her information from basically the Reddit and just fringe places. She's not somebody who actually gets any kind of due diligence. She's basically looking for just tabloid type stuff and then running with it. because she doesn't really ever check her facts, and that's the problem she's getting in with Amber right now.
Sensational.
Amber Portwood. So, yeah,
She's not employed.
She does it for
She's not-
sensationalism. Yeah. What? I'm sorry, Steve.
She's not an employed journalist, is she?
No.
No, she's not. She sort of vaguely claims to be. So let me
No.
see what I can.
Yeah, I don't think Tati is a clout chaser,
Did I get the right-
chaser
did I
either.
get the right screen?
Tati is pretty popular.
Yeah, because for my English composition course, we had to write up on a subject, an article for any sort of media piece, and we had to make sure our sources were verifiable as well as grounded, like say academic sources.
Absolutely, that's just fundamental journalism 101. But Katie doesn't have any interest in that, and people be like, be wondering why I'm so adamant about getting the truth out with Katie. There's a lot to be said there, and there's a lot of history there. And since I do hold her personally responsible for at least partially the downfall of the Non Sequitur show and the destruction of a $100,000 channel, I'm going to make it a well-known thing that she falsely accused me of fraud, falsely accused me of sexual harassment. That stuff needs to be pointed out. And I know she's done things to other people. She did it with Amber, accusing her falsely of committing crimes, of threatening her, right? Because she's on probation. And so she basically called her PO and the DA and said, this woman threatened me, to try to violate her on a probation thing. I mean, that's just so wrong on so many levels, because everybody who watched and listened to that can hear that Amber did not threaten her. Ridiculous.
Not only that, but Amber claims that she sent in doctored audio. That was the big thing.
She could possibly get sued for that.
She could go to prison for that.
Sin asked, if quarks aren't conscious, how do they hold a God belief? They don't.
What?
Yeah. You maybe call me Sin.
Yes, Steve. Answer that.
Quarks can't hold a God belief. They don't believe. Yeah, they have no beliefs.
Steve has just been pwned.
I get weird questions. I know they're great. Ask away, but it's just sometimes you just got to go.
So are you telling me that quarks are agnostic about bosons?
No, about hadrons.
Hadrons. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they're not agnostic either. To be agnostic, you actually have to try to evaluate the proposition and then suspend judgment on it. Anyways, how do we read this, dude? That is like micro print. I can't read that.
I'm
shit.
sorry. Well, I'll tell you. I'm curious as to how maybe I can. Maybe if I
magnifier. Oh, there we go. It's getting better. It's a
how is
yeah.
I could
how,
Yeah.
I could probably also
I hear
just
the zoom function is pretty good.
because it's a window and I'm showing it on my screen, which is a huge widescreen monitor. It's not. How is that?
Mikey is here.
How come nobody else cares but me?
I can read that.
Come
now.
on.
Mikey's
Yeah,
awesome.
I can also
like
actually
Mikey.
I can
We're
zoom that a bit
friends.
more too. Yeah,
I
can
think.
zoom that.
Yeah,
And Nick, can you zoom in a little more?
Yeah.
I peed myself. So
I was
happy
just
that
going to
way.
get my magnifying visor.
What?
Yeah, that's perfect. No, I can read that.
All right, there we are.
Beer,
All right.
the merrier.
And by the way,
All right.
I do want to welcome a lot of people from Katie's channel recently. A lot of them have been coming over after watching a few other videos and asking me in private for the truth. And I've been very respectful of that and appreciate that. Anybody who comes to me asking me for evidence, asking me about what's happening, I will give them to the best of my ability and be very truthful about it. And I like the fact that the people that she sent over here, even before to try to harass this channel, a lot of them actually became actual watchers. It's like she tried to. I have screenshots of people actually sending her quote troops over. She calls them troops. In order to try to harass the live stream, and it happened when we had Fancy, when we talked about Fancy coming on. Remember, for the whole Gypsy Rose thing, and she had people send over here, and they were like, "Steve, you don't want to have her on," and I'm like, "Why?" Well, they give me good reasons why I don't want to have her on, and I didn't have Fancy on, so I listened to them, and they're like, "Oh, Steve's not as reasonable as Katie makes him out to be." You know? All right, so what do we got here?
All right. Well, so this was actually in response to, I think, a video where she was just misrepresenting a whole bunch of stuff. One of the things that she likes to do, and I just go through a lot of it claim by claim, a lot of it sort of compounds into other things later on. I work for Patheos. First of all, this is very much an appeal to authority, which she likes to do. Listen, I've written articles for NBC or CNN. I've been on the Daily Beast. I've been this and all appeals to authority, all in an attempt to say, because I have this background, most of which it didn't strike me as reasonably impressive or quite what she made it out to be. Because of this, you should respect what I have to say. And that's usually when I start disrespecting what people say, is when they start at this position. Anyways, one of the things I did do was I contacted Pathos and I asked them if she was employed there. I contacted them twice. They did not reply and were unable to confirm that she was, in fact, did work at Pathos. Now, she did have a blog on Pathos. So did 3,000 other people. It's reasonably easy to get a blog. They are, in fact, not a journalistic website. They are a website for platforming bloggers, usually within a certain sort of area, and they will pay some of these bloggers for content. That does not mean you work for them. There's a difference between submitting an editorial that gets accepted or that you even get paid for, which does happen at the New York Times, and working for the New York Times. Those are two very different things. So this covers, oh, I'm sorry, I said 3,000. I think it's 450 blogs that they host. And I also checked their LinkedIn profile. I checked all of their public information, everything they have that lists their employees. The most I could find was a list of 58 employees. She is not now, nor has she ever, that I can tell, been listed.
Let's talk about this real quick. By the way, you can slow down a little bit. We're in no rush. You talk faster than I do.
Nick is always in a rush.
I know.
I'm going to need to leave reasonably soon, but I got some time. I don't know. I'll be back, like I said. But yeah, let's do it. Let's do whatever.
All right. So let's so she's running the argument that she worked for Pathos, and you're right. I don't know necessarily it's appeal to authority per se, but what it is a building up of her statue. It is to add credibility. It's street cred, right? Look who I work for. But the thing that she neglects to explain to her audience is that she doesn't work or never did work for Pathos. She had a blog that was on Pathos' servers. That's not an employee. She was treating it as she was an employee because she was actually saying she had all these different lawyers at her fingertips, which she didn't have.
Well, yeah, and because Pathos is owned by, I guess, according to her, and I believe it in this case probably true, a $4 billion company, she has at her disposal $4 billion lawyers that will defend her against any kind of attack, including concentration. No, she made that argument repeatedly.
Yep. Yeah, it simply does not follow.
And I dropped a link to this in the live chat as well, in case anyone else.
Yeah, call bullshit.
Yeah, so I've been at Pathos for 1.5 years, writer for 5 years. I've never in my life dealt with this kind of crap. This is a dramatic claim, and I highlight this claim because I will return to it. But keep in mind, what she says here is the crap that she's dealing with in regards, as I recall, this was to the non sequitur stuff. She's never had to deal with anything in her life this bad. Put a flag in it, move on. Because of my affiliation with Kyle, I've become under attack. No, I don't believe that it is specifically her affiliation with Kyle that caused her to be attacked. It was the claims she made on behalf of Kyle, non sequitur, so on and so forth. It's the claim,
Brandon,
not
can
her
you
affiliation.
please? I'm sorry.
Okay.
He and his their partnership dissolved. I knew nothing of it. We will plant a flag there too. I like to go in order, so I'm just going in order of all her claims. But she claims here it dissolved. I knew nothing about it. I have said nothing publicly about this in weeks. That's an interesting point. You seem to say, quote, I know nothing about it, then tacked on in weeks a second later, because indeed you have spoken about it. A key fact you seem to have forgotten. You repeat this later and again tack on in weeks, suggesting that you're well aware that you've spoken about it recently. It's none of my business. I agree. It would be nice if she could actually respect that. People affiliated with Steve have taken the time and effort to generate a Gmail account with my brand and name.
Okay, wait. Okay, multiple things wrong here. First of all, she did talk about this explicitly. She actually said things like, it was all over. It's been settled. There was lawyers. There's a payment plan. It's all been taken care of. They've worked it out, kind of stuff. None of that was true. And her accusing me of fraud throughout this entire time, this was about when she was accusing me of fraud. She had spoken openly about it, and she said she was basically in privy information because Kyle had told her stuff. And then because later on she even said, well, Kyle lied to me. Well, how do you know nothing about it and at the same time say, well, Kyle told me this and this and this? I mean, which is it here? And the accounts that are out there, Chester and I have nothing to do with any of them. I mean, we're friends with them as far as we respect them, and we talk to them, but we don't have anything to do with them as we do not own them or have login, or they're not our accounts. There are other people that have done commentary tracking her history of bullshit long before they met us, by the way. So it wasn't like they met us and said, "Oh, we wanted to document the stuff." It was, Katie has all these problems. Oh, look at these groups over here from the non sequitur stuff. They seem to have issues with her as well. So that's what it was.
And and she seems to assume anybody who targets her in any way whatsoever is associated with Steve in particular.
I'm flattered, but no.
And in many cases too, it's a demonstrably
Right now.
These people in some cases had engaged long before they had ever heard of Steve, or even before there was an issue with Steve. My image is federally copyrighted and owned by Pathos. False and, well, true, sort of, and false. All works are automatically copyrighted and protected by copyright law the second they are made. You don't need to submit in the US anything to be copyrighted. It is copyrighted. They are copyrighted at the federal level, but you don't normally say federal copyright.
Right.
And the fact that she says federal copyright is, once again, she's trying to sort of blow smoke up people's asses like it's federally copyrighted, because that's better than the copyright you get when you go down to the local post office and just sort of say, hey, can you copyright this thing? It's copyrighted by the podunk.
Everything she does seems to take something and then like raise it up a notch to make her sound more valid.
Hey,
yeah,
and
it's not owned by Pathos.
Like padding your like she like pads her resume kind of stuff.
Resume.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
Hey, what up?
It's me.
Hey.
My boy. Yeah, what's up, my boy?
It's your boy.
Listen, there was a reason why I wanted to call Nick in on Friday.
Yeah, this is one of. There's a couple. I don't get into a lot of stuff, but the ones I do, I get into, and she's one of them. I do a deep dive on this.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, and by the way, this is antiquated. It's still all legit. It's all right, but I mean, there's so much more since then. This was written quite some time ago. We happened to talk about it the other day, and I think I hopefully kind of convinced you to release it, but in some ways.
Yeah, it's been private, and the reason it's been private actually is just because the quality of writing isn't up to what I wanted it to be, especially towards the end. And I keep meaning to improve it and fix it and do all this other stuff. And then finally, it's like, look, if people want to read it, it should be out there. So yes, I unlocked
read it, Nick. I just came over from Dapper Dino's channel. Landon's over there talking about space. And also, I can only be here for a little while, but I figure I'd come by and say hi.
Awesome. Who's got to go?
So,
Lawrence had to go. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Wait,
by the way,
what?
hi, Mike.
No, that was Mikey.
Oh, that
was Mikey that said
oh,
that.
Mikey left. Oh no.
They sound so much alike. Mikey, you got to go.
Well, I mean, if Landon's over there talking about space, I'd much.
Oh Jesus! Oh sure, thanks, Mikey.
I see how you are.
No.
I mean, to be fair, Landon talking about space, Katie Polson.
Katie.
What if Landon talked about? Never mind.
Landon's got better things to do.
Landon will come over. Exactly. Landon will come over as soon as they're done.
All right, let's see.
What if Landon talked about the near black hole density between Katie's ears?
Ooh, that would be.
We could do the math on that,
That would be nice.
We could.
I'd like that.
It's possible. We have the technology.
I got myself
I don't think there's a black hole there. I just think it's like hollow, like glowing, like it's a cave. I feel like saying that there's a black hole
in between
there
her
is giving her too much credit.
So in between her ears is essentially pandemonium.
Everybody
the plane of existence.
Everybody say hi to Manya.
Hi, Manya.
Hi, Manya.
Hi.
All right, I gotta go in about 5 or 10 minutes. So let me. I'm gonna keep moving.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right. So I'd also, she says her image is owned by Pathos. This is important for two reasons. First, she's going to use it to bolster the claim. Hey, that's why you don't mess with it. $4 billion lawyers. But that's also interesting. She also says that the parody account engaged in defamation. We'll get onto that further. This one's just one of my favorites. Sharing things that I might say online. That sounds like kind of Schrodinger's claim. I mean, either she says something or she doesn't. We're not concerned with things she might say, but stealing my logo is copyright infringement, and I have an entire legal team. Just a second ago, she said that the logo belonged to Pathos. Is it her logo or is it the Pathos logo? Is the team hers or this just gets wow. Mm-hmm. Once again, I don't think they're going to bring in their legal team for one of their bloggers.
No.
Who is claiming copyright infringement when fair use clearly applies. She misreads fair use. she's repeatedly said, "I'm a journalist. Trust me when I talk about fair use. Trust me when I talk about defamation, slander, and what was the other one? Libel. And she did a whole show on that and got all of it wrong.
Completely
oh yeah,
wrong.
let's
totally
trust
wrong.
Katie because Katie says to trust her. I'm sure that'll go well for everyone involved.
Yeah, and it's so funny because one day she'll be like, "I'm not a journalist," and yet we have so many screenshots of her saying, "I'm a journalist for this, this, and this." And then she actually said in one thing that she wasn't an investigatory journalist; she was an investigative reporter. And I'm like, "What's the distinction? Isn't that kind of a difference without a distinction?" I don't understand
that
what the hell the
clip you
difference.
shared of her and her husband literally almost killed me. Just about murdered me.
Yeah, what the hell is anybody? I'm seriously. Can anybody tell me the difference between an investigative reporter
No,
and
'cause
an
it doesn't
investigative
exist.
journal? Thank you. It's like they're the same freaking thing. I mean, if they're like I said, a
No
distinction without a
difference.
difference. There's no difference there.
All right, Nick, keep going.
Okay, so here she says, they're trying to dox me. And by this, she means the parody account and everything the parody account is saying.
By
First
the way,
of all,
that's not a
everything the
parody
parody
account. That's a commentary account.
And yes, it is a comment. And thank you. We say that, and that's something I'd mentioned earlier. If you scroll back up, is that it's always claimed to be a commentary account. But at any rate, doxing would be revealing private information, typically with malicious intent. Nothing that even Katie claims in the video falls under that category. Further, what I find really interesting is immediately after she makes that claim, she says, "This is the account that's trying to do it. Here, everybody find the account. They're trying to dox me. They're revealing all this stuff about me. They're telling me in all these bad contexts. Here's everybody who follows the account. And I want you to know that they are all associated with that account and helping that account. Here they are. Here's a list." And she scrolls through the entire list while she's claiming doxing on her. It's one of the more
bizarre.
Katie-esque. Yeah, that was cute. So let's see. Oh yeah, I will show you who follows this page. I know who you are and what you are doing. This is what she says of all the people who are following the commentaries accounts page, which sounds staggeringly paranoid.
Didn't you hear? I was the commentary page.
Well, yeah,
Apparently.
it was you for a while, Chesh. Yeah. They've created other accounts in the likeness of people associated with Kyle. No. I believe they stated opinion as fact. That's the pot calling the kettle black by this point. Here are the people following that person. Gives a list of everybody who's following that account, just for following the account.
But that commentary account has been around quite some time, a lot before they met us. They didn't know who Cheshire
by her
even was.
definition, by her definition, isn't she then doxing all the people that are following that account?
It is doxing, but it is by her definition, by her own definition.
Yeah, it's not actually doxing.
Yeah, but by her, you're right, Chesh. By her definition that she literally just defined, which is completely wrong. But let's go by the definition she uses. She just doxed everybody that follows that account.
Yep.
That's not
me and mine and me and mine.
This is logically airtight. This account has commented on things Steve McRae says. Let's see. I know nothing about the funding that's going on between these two. My advice to her then is to stop claiming she does. This is a tweet where she claims to understand Kyle has your money. It's set aside. He has tried to give it to you, caps, multiple times.
Which, by the way, I have asked her. I'm like, when did this happen? I would love to know when I was offered money. We had talked about it once. We had talked about getting $1,000 a month. So it was like a stipend until we could do the taxes and figure out the balance and get it all in one lump sum. But that never came to fruition. He never said, "I have your money. How do you want it?" Ever. Because I would have said, "Well, send it to my bank account." I mean,
well, the closest thing that happened to that
never
is
happened.
in the Death of the Non Sequitur Show video, Kyle does say, "Do you want to get paid? How do you want to get paid? Do you want to get paid?" And you're saying, "I want to, but I need to see the books."
Right. That's the only time he actually brought it up. Is he said, "I want to get, how do you want it?" And I said, "Well, I need to see how much I'm owed. I'm not going to take your word for it without seeing any of the records. You're out of your mind."
Right.
Well, and just to be clear, you actually asked, you said, "Could I see the books, please? I would like to see the books now." And he said, "Can't give them to you now, but I can give you $1,000. And it was sort of like, wait a minute. It feels like I'm being bought off not to ask about the books anymore.
But I was making only a couple $100 a month. So the $1,000 to me would have been huge, right? I mean, I was taken as a stipend. And I was like, okay, let's make that happen. That never did. But yeah, I asked him for the PN. I call it the PNL or the books. But there's a couple times I asked him for the PNL. Never got it. Don't think he understands what a PNL is. I don't. I really don't. I don't think he's bullshitting. I don't think he understands it.
But does he know what a non-disclosure agreement is?
Does he know what an NDA is?
So here she says, once again, I know nothing about the funding, and then she claims to know the funding. Kyle has the money. He's been trying to give Steve the money, but Steve says, no, I'm allergic to money. So Steve isn't taking the money. I'm literally not involved in any of this. That is demonstrably, we've already proven that false, and I haven't even tried yet. We'll get to me trying.
I don't even know how she's trying to run that argument that she's not involved with it. She was on the channel.
Well, and she has repeatedly said she's trying to get other people to stop and say, you guys don't know anything about this. There are people like us who are insiders who know everything that's going on. Leave it to us. That is a tweet. She said it. I have that record too, without any crystal balls, is in the live chat. She's got it. You cannot sit there and say, I have insider information that nobody else has and everyone else should defer to my authority. And then a day later, probably less than that, say, I don't know why people think I know anything about this and they should stop harassing me on the subject.
You are exactly right.
So please consider that what you're doing is taking your personal online fights and impacting people's lives. I could not agree with her more. I wish she would remember that when before she claims that I know for a fact Steve is defrauding the government. I know for a fact Kyle has Steve's money and is trying to. I would really. She and I agree on this point, and I think the world would be a better place if everybody, especially certain journalists, could understand. I'm obviously not talking about Katie because nobody thinks she's a journalist, but certain people could.
Well, some of her fans do. She has really.
So her fans
she has brainwashed her fans. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that I don't watch her stuff, but people send me clips a lot. And I'll watch a clip, and she'll just be berating her fans, call them assholes, and just treating them like shit and mocking them and having her weird Valley Girl type voice, and they send her money. I'm like, this is like...
To be fair, I sign up for that.
To be fair, that's how I show love. I make people feel terrible, and that is how I tell them that I love them.
Do you do dominatrix type thing?
And from that, I let me get on your bad side because I think I'm going to prefer that to being on your good one. I just
but I don't want to imagine Katie Polson in a dominatrix outfit.
Fair enough.
Okay, excuse me. I have to go. I need to just throw up a little bit in my mouth. Excuse me.
All right, Google. Give
me. I
don't want to diss on Katie personally. I'm just trying to keep it clean.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll do
There's
better.
so much shit she says to go after. We don't have to go after her personally. No.
So this is where some of the previous stuff...
Can you imagine her voice saying dominatrix things? Like I just.
Okay, her voice is great. I'll give you that. Okay.
No.
So,
remember, I'm not drinking tonight, so I can only take so much of this.
You're not drinking. Why am I here?
I don't know.
Right? I'm like the only person that's drinking.
Oh, I guess I better leave because I don't have any alcohol.
You know, rum and cokes have really gone to shit since they got rid of the rum and coke. Let me tell you.
I know.
we went alcoholic vegan. Why? You know, where's vegan? By the way, she's still here. Vegan, you still here? Did she leave?
Who's vegan?
Yes, I am. Okay. And did you know that there's actually an app that you can download that will tell you whether or not something is vegan or vegetarian friendly? It's called Barnivore.
Does it work for alcohol?
Yeah, that's what it's for. It's because sometimes they actually use animal products in the filtration.
Hey, I tell you, man, if it's vodka is like potatoes, that's all natural, organic.
It's gluten free.
Yeah. So I'm down for that, man. I'll be a vegan if I can just drink
free
vodka.
real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still. In fact, that's what I use. I just go whenever I go to buy new whatever. I just check the app, see if it's vegan friendly, and I'm good to go.
All right, I need to go. So I'm going to read these last two, and then I'm out of here.
Go.
So the last two. None of this success with various media companies would be possible unless I was doing my due diligence as a blogger. No, there are plenty of frauds out there, plenty of people who make it to the highest level and eventually get caught. The fact that she is successful is not proof of the fact that she's reliable in any way. Frauds get exposed all the time. I have no experience with her prior work, but in this instance, she fails, in my opinion, to live up to the standards that she claims. And then I will leave it with this. I have had 20 anti-vaxxers who are 20 times more unstable than you guys and do the craziest shit to me. All right, I planted a flag earlier where I said that she claimed that what was happening to her as a result of this was the worst thing she has ever experienced. Now, shortly later in the video, yeah, she says anti-vaxxers are 20 times more worse. So which is the case? Is her first claim that, let's see, it was up here.
Does she just
and
not
this is
keep
old.
Does she not just keep her stuff? I mean, is she so much of a pathological liar she just cannot keep her things straight in her head, or she doesn't care anymore? I'm really at a loss to try to figure out her mental dispositions, because it is such flagrant bullshit, and I can't believe that somebody doesn't point out to her audience these things more often, because there's just massive inconsistencies in everything she says, like everything.
I've been enjoying the hell out of the comment section on Friday's video.
I haven't had a chance to see it.
So
here was this was the original. I've been at Pathos for a year and a half, writer for 5 years. In my life, I have never had to deal with the kind of crap I've had to with
except for the anti-vaxxers. That was 20 times worse.
Except for the anti-vaxxers, which is 20 times. I will try to return later, guys. Thank you all very much. And Chesha actually has the link, so if you guys want to finish it, but I'm like 80% done.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a nice meeting you all. See you. Bye.
Bye, Nick.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't even know, man. It's just bizarre to me that people can't see through. What?
Au revoir.
Au revoir. But anyways, what does the live chat got to say on that? It's nothing really new to them, right?
Oh, the live chat? No, live chat's on board. Live chat's like, listen, cough with this. We don't care. Katie's dumb. We all know this.
By the way, Leslie, throw your link into your YouTube channel in the live chat so people can go follow you over there. Especially if you guys like the soap stuff. I don't listen to the soap stuff, but I'll go over and just kick it with Leslie every so often.
Hey guys.
Well, actually, the other day was the first day, really, or like, was it today? No, it was the day of the first day I think I've ever hung out with her.
You guys want to see a super secret?
Yes.
Guess who can do art again?
You got a new cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a new cell phone.
Nice.
Hello. Is this Sean Hufford? Yeah, Steve is trying to steal your jokes.
She's like 3 foot tall. That's why.
But I was playing around with it. I want to show you guys what I was doing.
So I imagine when Chess draws, she's like Tom Hanks in Big.
Yeah, I just gotta run with a pencil.
She uses a pencil like a paintbrush.
Like a dust mop.
Wall.
Like a dust mop. She just.
So I'm just gonna share the screen.
They don't believe that's real. They don't think your Surface thing or tablet is real.
So here's what I was working on.
They're calling you a liar, Chesh.
That's okay.
Liar.
Oh, it's a bamboo thing, right?
Yeah,
it's the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Somebody asked that's a Wacom, right? Because
actually,
she was actually. I'm telling you, she was actually at war with Wacom on Twitter with their customer representative. She was going off on him on Twitter, and people were like, "Chesh, back off! He's trying to help you." She's like, "It's not fucking drivers." I was like, "Wow, okay." You get a customer rep on Twitter, that's unusual, and you're being a dick to him.
I wasn't being a dick to him. This is Murphy.
I wish I could draw. I could draw. I can't. I can barely draw a stick figure.
It's all practice. And then this was the first one I did on the new tablet.
Yeah,
I like that kind of art. I like the
that's awesome.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's like charcoal in charcoal, grayscale. Now you could cheat and make something in color, then kind of scale it down in grayscale, but that's all done in grayscale, right?
It's badass.
Well, I did it. I didn't. Well, yeah, I just did it in. I didn't do it in colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I did it all in regular black and white.
Nice.
But it is not a Wacom. It is in fact an XP pen, specifically, which is lighter. This thing runs better and cost me, like 1/4 of the price of a Wacom, and also like it doesn't have compatibility issues, and I haven't had any issues with any of the cords or anything, and everything's actually protected on it, and it came with a 4-year warranty, which is really nice.
You know, it's funny is I actually have the same thing you do, but look at the size difference between yours. I mean, this is the same model she has. This is I'm actually normal size. Yeah.
Jerk.
As you can see, I am enormous.
Yeah, he's fucking huge.
He just holds up like a Tic Tac and just like, see, this is what she's like.
He's a big boy.
And yeah, if any of you guys want to commission me, you absolutely can. The best way to reach me is on Twitter. However, you can also email me as well.
Dr. Zaya says he's really good at drawing penises.
See, I might take you up on that.
Fun fact.
Hell yeah.
Fun fact. Everything that Chess has ever drawn has a subliminal penis in there somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah, she doesn't even wear it half the time. It's just there. You have to go searching for
the program I'm working in is actually not Adobe because, as you may have realized from me not buying another Wacom product, because fuck those guys, I'm cheap as fuck. I use a free program. It's called Krita. It's designed for painting and drawing on a canvas rather than photo manipulation. Like
I know a lot of people that use Krita.
Interesting.
It's popular. By the way, I really like that.
It's really good.
I really do like that painting in your background.
That one?
Show me your
nice
painting.
one.
That's a nice painting. Look at that. That's like this, and nice painting.
It's a lovely painting of the beach.
Are you on a couch or a bed?
I'm on a bed.
On a bed. That you sleep on?
Yes.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I do sleep on a bed most of the time. Just not always. Just not when I'm moving across the country and I'm sleeping on the floor.
I tried sleeping once. It's overrated.
It is. It's krita.org. Yes.
I'm telling you, I've had some weird sleeping patterns lately. I mentioned it to you earlier, but people have like you doze off, like you're kind of tired. You feel like yourself slipping. You lay down. You're out within a minute or two. You have the weirdest fucking bizarre vivid dream, and you wake up and it's like 5 minutes later, and you felt like you've slept for like a day.
I have a love-hate relationship with that situation because sometimes I feel it makes me feel like complete garbage, and usually it just means that I need to sleep more and I hate myself.
Yeah, well, it messes up your REM sleep, I guess, too. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, my sleeping has been.
Ooh, chat sent me a link to kritaartist.org, which is apparently a website where people can show off what they've made in Krita specifically to help, I guess, promote Krita itself. And apparently they have paid work.
I'm
gonna get a job for Krita.
I'm learning how to do GIMP finally, or at least trying to.
I'm eating lasagna.
Well, Steve, that actually more or less happened to me the other day while I was at work. I only got like 5 hours of sleep.
Oh, you fell asleep at work?
Well, I didn't fall asleep. I was just like, I was only supposed to work for 5.5 hours, but we were so super busy. My boss was like, yeah, can you stay for another hour and a half? I was like, and back of my mind is say, no, don't do it. Just get off, go home. But I stupidly said, sure, why not? And then I got my second break. And I'm in the break room. I just lay down my head, and I'm just trying to catch like a power nap. It felt like maybe 8-10 minutes went by, but it was only 3 minutes in actuality.
Oh, I've had that happen so many times. I remember one time I was in prototype, and I was studying something, and all of a sudden I kind of felt myself drifting, and all of a sudden this fiery meteor came out of the tech manual I was reading, and just like, and I just like jumped up, and I was like, okay, I'm awake now. It was like completely a hallucination. So yeah, you have weird things happen when you have sleep deprivation. The Casual Spaceman for £5 used to heavily indoctrinate UK politics, but not so much now. What do you guys think of the political situation there now? I don't know. Brexit is confusing to me. No deal, partial deal.
Brexit is confusing for everybody,
Yeah,
including the people designing it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I've asked people to come and explain it, but even they're like, we don't understand it either.
Nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Sweetie says, I brought Steve McRae closer to God, and now he's having visions. Boy, she's really high on herself, isn't she? Well, I think I've created a goddamn monster.
I warned you, Steve.
You warned me.
Yes. She
Mikey,
warned you too.
I'm not afraid to admit when somebody's right. People are like, I can't admit Steve's right, but I'm going to say he's not wrong. No, I admit it. Mikey, you were very much correct, man.
I'm telling you, man. We travel with dangerous alpha females.
I'm scared.
any show of weakness, and we will be beheaded. Like a bunch of female
we know what head. Yeah, you know what head we're gonna take too.
I'm about to say they're like fucking female praying mantises. That's why I tread very lightly. And I say hi.
He says I try to bring it to atheism. We don't even talk about atheism. Sweet and I don't really talk about atheism that much.
Yeah, you know better.
Big old baby Browns.
Yeah, she hears it enough on these things. Why does she want to talk about atheism? She doesn't.
Steve knows what he can and can't talk about when Sweets is in the room. You better shut
99% of everything. It's like 2 words I can say to her, yes and maybe. She doesn't even like no. It's just like I can't even say that to her. Yeah.
Yes is what you can say.
Yes. Yeah, not yes.
Not.
Just switch it to absolutely not.
Oh, here we go. We got to talk about this real quick. Especially we got Steve in the room here. This is from Adam. T-Jump continued to get wrecked on Ask Yourselves Discord last week. Yes, he did. Dr. Alex Napas destroyed him. In fact, I was talking to Alex. I talk to Alex quite frequently. I can't divulge too much, but I can safely say that he was not impressed. But it's just like T-Jump's argument makes no sense to anyone. And I kept telling people, look, T-Jump's argument is nonsensical across the board on everything he talks about. And he's kept on saying, well, philosophers agree with him. Oh, really? Well, here's a PhD in philosophy that had no idea what the fuck he was even talking about half the time and tried to explain to him how bad his reasoning was. He even wrote a blog on it.
AC Costello said that Thunderfoot can explain Brexit, apparently.
Yeah, he might be able to. But you try to get Thunderfoot in here, we'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh.
But can Thunderfoot objectively explain Brexit, or is he going to throw in his dogma and Sargon's bad, therefore Brexit?
Why not both?
Could be all the above.
Let him pull a Philly D.
So
I'm going to
Steve,
give you the news, and then I'm going to give you my opinion.
Let me ask Steve here, because I'm not even bullshitting here. This is straight up. Steve, did not his arguments kind of involve if something is an involuntary imposition of will, which by the way he thinks is a proposition, it's not truth apt, but he argued that if a rock falls on you, that isn't an immoral act because the rock has involuntarily imposed upon your will. Did he not argue that? Thus, rocks are immoral. He did argue that. Or that action is immoral.
Wait, hold on.
I don't want to think about this.
You have to have
wrap your head around this.
I don't want my brain
wrap your head
to think about this.
How? I don't get it.
We broke Lawrence.
One must possess will prior to imposition of will.
Well, here's the thing: the rock falls on you, despite the fact you don't want it to. Therefore, the rock is immoral, according to T-Jump's model of morality. Yeah, damn nature.
That's fucking Proverbs.
Wait, what if the rock didn't want what? Let's assume that the rock had a soul, and the rock didn't want to kill you, didn't want to harm you, but because gravity is such as it was, and all factors,
then gravity's immoral.
Gravity's immoral.
Gravity rock is going to beat your jabroni ass.
Gravity exerted its involuntary imposition of will on the rock.
Actually, T-Jump went as far as to argue that cause and effect time is immoral. Because
God, no.
Yeah, Alex basically stated he's getting older and he doesn't want to get any older. He wants to stay young. And asked T-Jump, is that immoral? T-Jump said, yeah. So by T-Jump's own logic, time, cause and effect is immoral.
You could really sum up.
There's no way.
Well, hang on. You could really.
There's no way somebody thinks this.
No. Seriously, it does. You could actually sum up his argument by saying involuntary imposition of will means against one's desires. So if you don't desire that a rock to hit you, and a rock does, that's immoral. You don't desire to grow old, and you do, that's immoral. That seems to me almost the equivalency of his argument. If it's just something you don't desire that makes it immoral. No, that's not how it works.
So what if two people both don't want something and it happens anyway?
The universe explodes and divided by 0.
Oh, because I'm sure that never
immoral
happens.
by that point.
Yeah, both.
I gotta take off though. My time is up.
That's called a marriage.
I have to go jump over to Rhetoric's channel because he's doing a hangout where he's going to be talking about the debate he had the other day, and I want to yell at that guy some more.
Who's Red's Rhetoric? I don't remember that guy.
Who knew YouTube? Who dis?
New YouTube. Say hi to him for me.
I hope you get Landon later on.
Tell Rez I love him. He's my only one. He's my only one.
Let's just.
Goodbye, my goblin queen.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bienvenue.
See you guys soon. Mwah.
Sunday's not a good day to stream. Everybody has streams on Sunday.
I'm sorry.
I just didn't want to yesterday.
Somebody would have done RNC when it's supposed to be.
I know. Well, involuntary position of will. She's being immoral to me.
Oh, Steve. Remember the moving the kid out of the way for moving train and drug addict scenario?
Yeah. And his ontology, I guess. Saving a kid's life is an immoral act if the kid didn't want to be moved off the track.
Oh, no. It's not immoral. It's just less bad.
Less bad, yeah.
You're pushing.
So, one, I've got a smart-ass comment, and two, an observation. One, it seems like, so from T-Jump's epistemology, Chesh left. You didn't want her to leave. The audience didn't want her to leave, but she wanted to leave. Does she have an obligation? Is it more moral to subject herself to the wills of the greater body, or does she have the freedom because it's involuntary imposition of will? She doesn't want to be subjected to our will. So can anybody be moral in his proposition?
No, there's a solution to that.
No.
That's a solution. The solution is Cheshire is just an immoral bitch.
Okay.
Snap. I love you, Shesh. You're my only one.
Oh,
I gave you a virtual boot dunk.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Well, it got much worse with the best of all possible world arguments.
Oh my God! If what's moral would be in the best of all possible worlds, you get shot at, the bullet goes right through you like you're a ghost. Oh God!
Got them quantum bullets.
You can't even make this level of fuckery up. I mean, he is potato when it comes to these concepts. I mean, Unirock knows more philosophy than T-Jump. Oh, hey, Uni.
So, and this leads to my observation. It seems like I'm observing from where I'm standing. It really seems like T-Jump doesn't like God, but he believes in God, and he's pissed off at God. Therefore, T-Jump's an ass, disbelieves in God out of spite, because he's saying shit like this as though there should be an arbiter, a balance sheet, a person to say yes, no, and someone empowered with the ability to just make the bullet wisp right through you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a moral arbitrator that would say it's immoral to be shot, therefore the bullet in a possible world will go right through you as a ghost.
Well, the whole problem with that scenario, though, is T-Jump was glad. Like, Alex Malpass said, he threw the scenario out that he was given a gun and he had the desire and want to shoot T-Jump. And T-Jump's best of all possible worlds, it will require imposition being put on Alex's will. So T-Jump's best of all possible worlds is actually immoral.
I've never heard of possible world semantics being used for moral ontology. For epistemology, yes. When it comes to truth tracking conditions for like justified true belief, there's something called justified true belief plus with a truth tracking condition, which is called either sensitivity or safety. They're really difficult to distinguish between the two. I have a hard time myself, but basically it's saying what a subject would do in the next possible world to us if they knew that the proposition wasn't true. If they held it to be the case, then it's considered knowledge. Something along those lines. I forget the exact truth tracking condition, but possible world theory is used in epistemology to determine if you have knowledge, because people know the Getty error problems in the JTP model, and so this type of truth tracking tries to get away from those Getty error problems, or at least resolve them. But I've never heard it with moral ontology before. Has anybody else? There you go.
I don't know philosophy.
Who's
No,
you know?
but
Who's vaping? Vaping people on air.
Nobody is vaping.
Should be shot with a magic bullet that goes right through them.
This is a hookah.
Whatever.
You uncultured swine.
You're sucking on something.
Yeah. Steve can hear that shit from fucking through the internet.
I can hear sucking very well. Adam, $2. Using normative miracles for best impossible world. Yeah, normative miracles for best impossible world. Yeah, well, there is what's called impossible world theory as well. There are impossible worlds.
Oh, surprise birthday parties are immoral too.
One where T-Jump makes sense is an impossible world. Yeah, you throw a party for somebody, it's immoral if the person didn't want to go to the party, according to T-Jump.
Yeah, but they're fun.
Yeah, but it's involuntary imposition of will.
Yeah, that's okay.
Immoral. Case closed.
Yeah.
Sometimes I order a Coke and I get a Dr. Pepper. That's cool.
Yeah, involuntary.
Maybe I needed it.
Dr. Pepper's better anyway. So.
Yeah, maybe I needed some Dr. Pepper in my life.
Does that mean being in prison would be immoral?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, our prison system is immoral no matter how you look at it.
Nothing about that conversation
so does that
made
mean
sense.
The death penalty would then be moral because you're alleviating the not wanting to be in prison?
Stop.
Team Jump breaks us.
Doesn't his immorality ultimately come down to degrees of least immorality in action? The most moral action turns out to be the least immoral action.
It's gradient with him. It's like the most moral is the least immoral, and so you have two immoral acts. The one that he's considered to be it's not even a moral act, but he calls it the lesser of the two. And there is something to be said by lesser actions. There's you can have a situation where both actions are immoral, and you're taking the best one because of utilitarianism or consequentialism. But that doesn't make the action moral. I hold that an immoral act isn't a moral act, even if it's good for good reasons. I don't hold to utilitarianism.
Yeah, I think that I would like to piggyback on that and say that one of my reasons for being vegan is one of my mottos is because I want to cause the least amount of harm. So I want to reduce harm, right? And so it's kind of utilitarian in that aspect. So I could see where he's coming from with that, because fair. When I try to determine whether or not an action or an inaction is moral, I want to choose something that is the least harmful, and that's also going to maximize my liberty as well.
No, I agree with that. But the difference is that if you have two immoral acts, even if one is going to be the least moral or immoral act as opposed to the other, and it will affect a lesser amount of people. Let's say that you have two things, both of them will affect a large number of people. One has less amount of people that's affected. Now that would be utilitarianism. So you can say, well, I choose this one because it's less of a effect on a whole bunch of people. But to me, they're both immoral acts.
Correct.
So you could do it in a moral act. Doesn't make it moral, just makes it justified. Justified. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Thank you. I like that. It makes it morally justified.
That's how I go about it, because I know that we can't eliminate all harm. And so it's about you're not changing the action from immoral to moral. It's whether or not that immoral action is justified.
Right. Yeah. Somebody said, hey, you know what? You have to shoot vegan or you have to shoot Mikey. And I decided to shoot Mikey. You know,
how did I know you were going to say that?
Shoot them both.
How did I know you were going to say
Shoot them both.
Because I like women better and I'm a sexist bastard.
I know.
I'm surprised you're not shooting the vegan.
In that case, the moral action is shoot yourself.
There's a third option.
Yes!
always a fucking third option. But if
you could eat the bullet, you know what I'm saying?
But if I shoot somebody, it's still an immoral act.
I'll take the bullet. Shoot me. Do it.
It'll pass.
I'm begging
right
you.
Through you. It'll pass right through you.
Can you shoot me in the leg?
Yeah.
Does it have to be a kill shot?
No. I'm not, dude. I'm not an asshole. I'm just a weakling, man.
I'd kill Mikey.
What?
I'll kill myself.
Yeah, what the? This took a dark turn.
Right?
Why do I have to die?
Yeah, why does the black guy always have to die in every goddamn situation?
Was this a fucking horror movie? Y'all motherfuckers talking about some what's upstairs? No, I'm out of here.
Never do that, by the way.
Floorboards just freaked. I'm out.
Never go upstairs alone. What the hell's wrong with people? They've like
I'm gonna
never
go
seen a movie before.
Oh my god, what was that sound? Let's go investigate.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
oh,
no, I'm out of here. I'm
Oh.
gone. See ya.
Hey, Mikey.
Too bad we can't stay.
Yeah, see, in the best of all possible worlds, Mikey would just do the Matrix and dodge the bullet.
Oh, yeah.
Mikey would do the Matrix and fly through the air with his very cool trench coat back to his house.
So it's better to be in the Matrix than the actual world that we're in. So the actual world is not the best of all possible world. The Matrix is.
There you go. See,
legit.
I knew he was a blue pillar.
If we're all
Blue,
just a
red,
simulation
rainbow.
and we're just batteries, I want a better reality. Come on. I want to talk to animals. I want to fly. I want superpowers. This is a bullshit reality that we're being simulated into. If I can have magic, I want magic, okay?
So,
Come
Steve,
on.
are you saying you're a brain?
That's fair.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have a discussion on brain and vat thing one of these days, and what's called epistemic closure. I'm still waiting that with Ozzy. Matter of time.
I'm excited.
You like that talk? Oh, can I talk nerdy to her for a second?
Is that Matt Slick or that other guy?
Which other guy? There's so many other guys.
Cy 10.
Cy 10 Brunicate, yeah.
Is he the brain in the vat?
Yeah, he brings up a lot. No, I gotta admit, I have a soft spot for Cy. I actually get along with him exceptionally well. Disagree with him completely, but I actually get along with him. So here's some pills for you. See what you guys figure out what these are. Okay, ready? I made a list on Twitter the other day so people can cheat. But red pill is
the Matrix.
No. Red pill's all the fucking the edgy edgelords.
Okay, right wing, alt right, whatever, edgy. Okay, blue pill is left wing woke, right?
Viagra.
Okay,
the control left.
Red rainbow pill turns you gay.
The gay agenda.
The gay agenda. Black pill. Everybody should remember this one.
Nihilistic. Fuck it all. Let's watch it burn and laugh while it happens.
We call those incels. Yeah.
White pill. Hold on there.
What?
Not all incels are like that. I mean, that's a terminology. Like, I spent like 4 years of my life as an incel. I was involuntarily celibate. I wasn't hateful. I wasn't a bastard. And not all incels are like that.
I mean, you could have called me. I would have helped you out, bro. All right, white pill. White
Hope
pill.
and love and Jesus.
No, white pill.
I gotta move spots. I'll be right back.
Okay, white pill. Choose you racist. Come on, Jesus Christ, that was an easy one. Green pill.
Turns your vegan, I don't know.
That was wait. That was from Dragon Ball Z. It restores all your stamina you lost during the fight.
No, that's a sensu bean.
Turns you into a tree hugger. Oh my god.
It's a green pill.
All right, last one. Ready? You got to get this one right. Yellow pill.
Oh, that's urine.
Yes.
Don't eat yellow pill.
Turns you into a piss drinker. Thank you. Yes.
I did it. I did it.
Wait, why are you taking yellow pills?
Why are you all in my business?
I don't judge.
You're the one got all the beer bottles and liquor bottles behind you on the planet drinking goddamn cola.
Right. I know, man. It's no fun when I don't drink on rum and coke night, is it?
So go get something to fucking drink. What are you doing?
No,
because I can't because I got to get up early.
Don't pressure him.
Yeah, what is this peer pressure? I got to get up early tomorrow. We got caffeine corner tomorrow, and I don't want to
be hungover.
Yeah,
mix and match. It's a good thing.
Dude, what's the best cure for a hangover aside from coffee in the morning?
Irish coffee.
More alcohol.
There you go.
I like your sleepy voice, Steve.
Do you? I get
Arabic coffee.
I'm not sleepy right now.
Very much.
Just put.
I know, but
in the morning, and then it's fine.
I have to like wake my fucking shit up in the caffeine corner. Yeah.
No. Just come in. Just wake up, start streaming, so I can listen to that sexy vibrato, kind of grumbling.
Oh, you like the gravel. She's a gravel fan.
Oh yeah.
I love when she sexually harasses me. Outdone $2. How squishy is philosophy exactly? That was from my Facebook. people say the weirdest things on my Facebook page, like philosophy is squishy and philosophy is subjective and philosophy is useless, and it's just like, oh man, I can't.
I hear that every day.
I can't deal with that.
Philosophy's sexy.
Yeah, goddamn right.
Philosophies for white castles. We're
it.
supposed to be dealing with people on the ground.
See, I wear this shirt. It's a philosopher T-shirt. I do it to confuse people because I'm not a philosopher.
I had somebody literally deny modus tollens today as a rule of inference. I'm like, I can't talk to you.
See, I don't even know what that is. What is that? Explain it to me.
Doesn't matter. Just say you don't deny it.
I'd be denying shit though.
What it is.
You don't know what modus tollens is?
I remember what modus ponens is.
Okay, modus ponens is modus ponens is a rule of inference, right? P implies Q, P therefore Q. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Modus tollens is the opposite. It's denying the antecedent. So it's P implies Q, not Q, therefore not P.
Okay. And that's called what?
Modus tollens.
That's a stupid name. That's what we don't remember.
I know.
Their name's stupid.
Right.
Philosophers love to make shit
I'm
up.
with Mikey.
Yeah.
Why don't y'all call shit like positive proof and negative proof? Like why you got a German guy's 17-syllable middle name? That's what we'll call that. Like, get out of here, dude. No.
Yeah.
Name it like you actually have to talk to people, philosophers. Humans.
So did you understand that? So it would be in the form of basically if let me see if I can find an example real quick. I hate making shit up.
No, just go back to, I know your example. As soon as you get done typing, you're going to give up, and then you're just going to make some reference about killing me. So just go ahead and do it.
If I shoot Mikey in the leg,
around, just kill me, bitch.
If I shoot Mikey in the leg, he will die. Mikey did not die, therefore I didn't shoot him in the leg. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm here to help.
Tollens. Yeah.
No, that's actually called the theory of ghost Mikey leg.
This is gonna
that was a dumb joke.
This is not going to just be demonetized. This is going to get flagged for hate speech. We're just like trying to shoot Mikey.
It happens.
You're from Chicago, like you've never been shot at before?
No, I haven't.
Really? I have, and I'm not even fucking from Chicago. Oh.
Mikey needs to contact the police more if he wants to get shot at.
Ooh.
Exactly. Like, I've been under more danger from cops than dudes in the hood.
That's pretty true, right? No, that's sad, but
sad.
I think the cops are more dangerous than the criminals some places.
I don't trust them at all because
people of color are 2.5 more likely to be stopped in a traffic to get pulled over, and they are 2.5 more likely to be arrested on site. Or what is it, Mikey? What's that statistic? They're something % more likely to be arrested or pulled out of their car or something.
I know for stops it's around like 2.5, 3 times, and then for getting whatever the infraction is some multiplier above that, and then for young black men, death by police is like 1 in fucking something, 1 in like 2.
1 in 5.
It's 1 in 200 something like period, just like across the board. So yeah,
and
I'm moving my kids out to somewhere where there are no police.
Oh my god, he's already planning babies. Good lord.
Hans, what are you doing? Are you masturbating to Mikey's sultry voice? I'm not judging. I'm actually just want to, if you want to share with us.
Well, Mikey, the best chance to do that is stay away from the inner cities.
Dude, you're safer in the hood than out in the country. As a black person, just saying.
Yeah, most part, yeah, but it varies on where exactly, like which state and which area and how
they're mansplaining to each other.
Well, I'm from
it's like a weird oscillation happening, like harmonics between us like that. Let me mansplain. No, let me mansplain.
Here. Let the person who is not a black man explain to the black man where the black man is.
Why are we letting a woman speak anyways?
Yeah,
let me explain racism, please.
Well, no, okay. So I was listening to an NPR special, and yes, I listen to NPR because I'm a liberal, but whatever. Anyway, and just
listen to it.
Right. Just the amount of people who are going to jail for like just literally just being put in jail has skyrocketed astronomically, and it's literally to the point where like they look to put you in jail before anything
You're just
else.
now figuring this out. Mikey has known this entire fucking life, and you're just figuring this out, Nikki?
Well, no, I mean, yeah, it's that, and I mean, there's a lot of like.
Let her speak her truth. She just learned,
right? Yeah,
she's excited.
I do want to speak my truth.
She's excited about it.
I am.
Nikki's like, I learned something.
All right, let her say.
I like learning things.
What's cyberbullying?
I know you do.
For real.
She likes to learn, and we like to teach.
Oh yeah.
Does that make you an investigative journalist?
Yeah, I'm an investigatory journalist. I like to discover things about.
No, but like, I don't think you want to discover that much. I kind of have a hog body, BMW.
Hey, Mikey, have you
Never mind.
Mikey, have you ever read any studies about how the political climate might be different if people who have been convicted of a crime did not lose their ability to vote?
Don't even talk to me about the dehumanization.
That's cool because he was totally talking to me, so he won't.
Nikki's just taking over everything, man.
That I have not read any studies on it, but I know that it's. I forget who it was. I was watching somebody's podcast on YouTube. And they brought that up, and I wanted to dig into it. And that is a very good point because there's a lot of places where even after you get out, you can't vote.
Yeah, I think there's an issue with that. I think that disenfranchisement with the a felon not being able to vote doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of a lot of conditions. And that needs to be looked at.
And I made an argument with a buddy of mine who has a very large channel, and I was in a Patreon hangout, and he was saying something about, well, no, because I don't think child molesters and people who kill their wives and shit, they shouldn't have a vote. I'm like, all right, well, what gives you the right to vote? I'm like, well, you got to be 18, got to be a citizen. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so are these people not 18 and not citizens?
Right.
There's not going to be a platform where they say, and if you put me in office, I will release all the prisoners. Like, that's not something that any politician can do. So there's no real effectiveness of revoking their right to vote just because they're incarcerated or because they're a felon. Like,
well, I mean, I think that they should run a platform that they should release like non-violent, especially first-time offenders for certain minor drug offenses.
Oh yeah, I agree. But people in prison aren't going to just vote and then they've all been freed because they voted. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, they're not going to be able to vote their way out. So you can still let them vote. And actually that's a very important way of incorporating people back into society, because if you know that you can't fucking vote, you're not going to fucking pay attention.
Yeah, but
at least that gives them something to fucking care about.
But why should we let somebody who's absolutely not going to play by society's rules at all steer the ship in any way, shape, or form? And
maybe because they incarcerate people at such an alarming rate that there are so many people who have this tendency to not play by the rules. I mean, if you look at it, for the same crime, a white person is not going to go to jail when compared to a person of color. It is literally putting people of color back in the oppression of fucking.
Speak the truth, sister.
I'm sorry.
I think that I think that
you didn't let me finish.
I think that question speaks to the fact that the American penal system is more about punishment versus rehabilitation.
It's more for.
Can I finish and round it off now before I let you do again?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I got all fired up.
What I was trying to say was, why should we let people who habitually have zero interest in participating in society steer the ship in any way, shape, or form? However, we give people zero interest in becoming a part of the conversation in any way, shape, or form. Let's be honest. Ex-drug addicts are going to make some of the best anti-drug activists. Guys who used to be rolling in gangs are going to be some of the best community outreach officers, but these guys are fucked out of the system for the rest of their goddamn lives. And this also means firearm ownership. This means, say you were a dumb kid, you were selling dime bags for somebody, you were slinging on a corner, and now you're a legitimate, reasonable person and you want to get into the weed industry. Well, you're fucked out of that in every state in the country. You lose so much. And I'm saying, we shouldn't just let people who have shown that they disregard society's rules to have a say in society until they show they are repentant, which means keep your nose clean for a few years, go through the legal paperwork to get your shit revoked, and it should not be a cost-prohibitive system. It should be geared towards rehabilitation. If we go through the drug courts first, as opposed to just throwing people in prison, and let's not just talk about people or, dark-skinned individuals getting this shit. Let's talk about the queer community. Whereas a guy, a queer individual with a personal use amount of anything gets busted coming out of a party, they're going to jail for a very, very fucking long time. Longer, in fact, than the average black person going to jail for the same crime. Let's talk about injustice across the fucking board and not get lost in the weeds over just color and stopping right there. There's injustice in this goddamn system and we need to fucking fix it.
Your cat's concerned about your blood pressure.
Your cat is doing like silent meows and they're very cute.
Sorry.
So
No, it's cool.
I just want to pet your pussy.
Stop it.
Oh. Whoa.
This took a turn.
Look at my pussy here. I'll show you my pussy.
Jesus Christ. No, Nikki, the stream.
This is the best stream ever.
Love it.
Oh,
this little
pussy.
So
what's
cute.
interesting, sorry, I don't know the guy's name with the beard and the cat, but I just think that there's a difference between, when someone comes out of prison, is that enough of the punishment? Because it's not in the States currently today. You're prevented from doing a whole slew of things for the rest of your life, and you're also usually attached with this probation process, which goes, I'm not really super familiar with it, but I believe that there's a whole load of crap you have to do for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And at some point, it seems like you're telling these people, well, you made a mistake and you fucked up, and we're going to make the rest of your life as shitty as we possibly can.
Right.
And that doesn't, to me, seem like you're trying to get them back into society. It
It's
almost
not.
seems
Exactly.
like you're saying, being
No,
are pretty much
that's
your
exactly
only way
what
to
I
go.
was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple different types of justice, but the two main ones are retributive and restorative. And the retributive, the retribution, it doesn't seem to work really well. I mean, I think there should be some kind of retributive justice for punitive to cause. I think there's a something to be said for a small amount of it, but the most part is if somebody gets sentenced to 3 years or 10 years, the recidivism rate is going to be about the same. It doesn't really have any effect on long-term changes behaviorally. So having these long incarcerations don't do anything but tax the system and very, very cost prohibitive. So the other way to look at it is more restorative justice and to rehabilitate people, far less expensive, but they don't invest in a lot of that because there's no money to be made in that by the state. Would you agree on that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
that's my position as well.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, if you don't get money out of it, they're not going to change it.
Right.
No, yeah.
Correct.
I mean, our
you all smart
our
people.
jail system is a $1 billion industry now, and they feed these people like garbage. They treat them like animals, and
we cannot make
it breaks them down as people. It makes them worse.
We cannot
and
make
desperate people do desperate things, and if you continue to make them desperate, they're going to go back and do desperate things. It's not that hard.
We cannot make it a habit.
Why would they be interested in participating?
We cannot make it a
habit
habit
that doesn't give a shit about them.
We cannot make it a habit to be agreeing like this on a rum and coke night. What the hell is wrong with you people? Stop it! It's not normal. I
just exploded for no reason. Come on.
Hey.
Well, look at it this way. You have a situation. Well, look at it this way. You have a situation where the person's in environment conditions that push them up against a wall, make them do desperate things, if not drive them crazy, and they don't want to add to that the chaos that may or may not be going on at home. And you throw them in they commit an act and they're thrown in jail, in prison, you're putting them in a much more dehumanizing and more crazier environment, and they come out more crazier and angrier than they were before. It's going to increase that chance of them potentially going back. And I mean, that's not really rehabilitation. That's because you're not only increasing his pathology getting worse, you're also still keeping him trapped and boxed in the same conditions that drove him into that to begin with. And
Or her.
Him or her. Yeah. And I'm sorry, that's just it's just like a cycle. It repeats itself because you're not really giving any option of escaping that.
And one thing, this is sort of adjacent, but similar, is like, let's say you get pulled over by the cops, you didn't do anything wrong, and for whatever reason, the fucking cop's got a hair up his ass, and he arrests you, he takes you to jail. So you sit in jail for 4 days because it's on the weekend, and you don't have time to be sat. So hopefully your rent wasn't due. Hopefully your bills didn't need to get paid. If you miss work for 4 shifts in a row, you're terminated. So now you don't have a job. And then after the 4 days, you talk to the judge drops all the charges. They say, go back to your life. What fucking life?
Yeah,
no, and there's no. Oh, go ahead.
Also, they if you had, say, your rent money on you in certain counties, they can keep that fucking money.
God, that is
so even if you didn't do anything wrong, they can still keep it.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that they feel it's a commission of a crime. Even if you're innocent, they'll still keep the evidence. But William Pearson says for $10. What about reserving the felony title for serious crimes with intermediate criminal intent to cause harm to people directly and make everything arch misdemeanors? Well, that's kind of the intent, I think, of those things. But unfortunately, some things that are considered a felony it shocks the conscience that they would be actually considered felonies. I agree with you. I think that incarceration should be more along the lines of people that have harmed people egregiously, whether it be physically harm or financially harm. Those are what I would be saying would deserve kind of prison sentence. There are other ways of having justice where you don't need to incarcerate somebody for low-level crimes. You just don't. You could put house arrest. You can have community service. You can give them options, right? That's the biggest thing.
The goal, though, is to get them into the penal system. The goal is to incarcerate them. They're trying to do that now because they're making money.
Right. Because privatized jails.
So much money.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if can I argue slightly with you. I don't know if them being the justice administration component of the society, his goal is to get people in there to make money. I think that a prosecutor's goal is to lock up as many people as possible so he can continue to get elected and then get a prime partnership in a law firm. And the way that they do that is that they have so many different laws that sort of kind of apply to a crime someone convicted or did, that they can come in and say, oh my God, I'm going to have to give you the life sentence unless you plead down. And so they've almost generated a system to where you get a traffic ticket and you're facing a murder charge. I know that's playing fast and loose with the rules there, but just as an example. And so you're just willing to plead to anything so you don't get the death penalty. And the prosecution system has gerrymandered it so much that you're fucked once you get in the door unless you've got a lot of money to pay for an attorney to make it fair.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. The fact that so many people can't afford lawyers is why so many people are in jail to begin with. Like, a good lawyer can hire people like experts, and they can prove stuff that weren't real. I don't know. I just
even still, I mean, even to get justice. I mean, look how much it's costing us to get justice for the non sequitur show fans, and for me personally. I mean, it's we're talking thousands of dollars, which, by the way, Glenn's going to get paid back for. But I'm out $30,000, and so anything that comes into me is going to go to Glenn first. So I mean, there's $10,000 probably off the top. We've done if we get anything out of Kyle, it's going to go to legal fees, which is going to go back to Glenn, and I'm totally cool with that. So I mean, I need to get like 40,000, him to make like 40 grand to be hold again. He's never going to make 40 grand. You know,
there was a very interesting documentary, and I wish I could remember the name, but it was about a young guy in New York City that got arrested because somebody claimed that they saw him stealing a backpack, and he spent like 3 years in Rikers prison waiting for a trial or something because he refused to plead. It's really very interesting. Again, if anybody knows the name, throw it out.
I'll look it up. He ended up committing suicide.
Yeah, because I mean, there was probably other issues there, but it was just the fact that he's going to sit in the worst prison.
Yeah, the system's fundamentally broken. It's fundamentally broken.
For stealing a fucking backpack, that had a camera.
For allegedly.
Yeah, right. Sorry, you're correct.
Yeah.
Because I guess he didn't. Long story short, he actually was innocent. It was somebody else.
Well, the system wants you to plead guilty, regardless if you did it or not. The judge doesn't care whether you're innocent or guilty. The judge wants to know if you're gonna waste the court's time with the case or not, or just plead it out, because they'd much rather have a plead, even if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And you can play no contest, but you still have the same punishment pretty much. You just saying you're not going to have an admission of guilt, because normally when you commit a felony and you plead guilty, you have to have a confession of the crime.
Yeah.
There was this book by an economist a while back. I forget his name at the moment, but the amount of people we have in prison statistically is the same amount of a totalitarian regime. So.
Yeah, I believe it.
I think becomes.
Well, to be fair, the totalitarian regimes call them work camps, so
Right.
So do we.
I mean, they have that in prisons, don't they?
Yeah, and they can use prisoners to fight fires and do all kinds of shit that they don't feel like doing themselves.
Yeah.
It's a reason they call it the new Jim Crow.
Yep.
Yeah. What?
I guess the question though is, what is the solution? How do you motivate people enough to change this fundamentally broken system?
You have to
Overthrow the
shake the
government.
system.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
Total anarchy.
Eat the babies.
Not just the rich. You also have to. It's not just the rich. You also have to press the politicians, and that's going to take say, well, first you got to educate people on the facts of the issue, and then you have to be like, here is the consequences of keeping the status quo the way it is. It's going to take more money at you. It's going to drive more people crazy. And it's not really going to solve the criminal elements in society. So you really need to shake up both the financial backing as well as the politics behind it.
Yeah,
I would say, assuming that America stays a democracy in 100 years, it'll.
We're not a democracy right now. So.
I think the problem is related to overcrowding, not enough jobs. So I think we should start eating babies to try to eliminate the problem.
No,
I mean,
eat the rich.
But just the atheist one.
Just the atheist babies.
Only the atheist ones. I was gonna say
they're more delectable.
Yeah. Start with the rich and then go to the babies.
Once your society graduates out of so much reliance and dictation on religion, you tend to look at these issues a little bit less in the punitive sense. Like if you look at Europe, a lot of those countries have very low rates of religious worship, whatever, and their criminal justice system is focused far more on the rehabilitation and getting the person back into society, paying taxes.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but they also put they put an emphasis also on mental health and body health. I mean, all of Europe has well, not all of Europe, but most of it has like a Medicaid type thing, one payer system. Germany, Britain, Norway, Newfoundland, all of those countries have universal health care. They have an emphasis.
Newfoundland is not a country in Europe.
I know. I don't know why I said it. I think I was trying to say Finland. Finland.
It's funny. The other day, Logic was talking to me. Logic hit me up, and he showed me a hilarious video of Poe arguing that Belgium didn't exist. It was and people were leaving comments in the video like just going off on this guy, and you could tell at the very end it was totally Poe because his arguments got so bad and so hilarious. But it was at the very beginning you're like, this is bizarre, right? Because you didn't realize he was a Poe, but holy shit, it was hilarious that people were like, he made a great case that Belgium didn't exist too. I was like, wow, this guy really believes this shit. But
if you've ever driven from Luxembourg or Germany into Belgium on the road, you definitely understand that Belgium exists because their roads don't. They're like fucking go pass.
All right, guys, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go
fair.
watch TV with the wifey.
How dare you,
I
Mikey?
will see y'all later.
tell her hi for me.
How dare you?
Give you lovey-dovey.
Have fun.
Mikey, this is why
Make
Steve
it
always...
over.
Wait, the Columbo wife that we've never seen in real life besides Photoshop. Yeah, okay.
I'm getting very real daggers in the side of my head from her eyeball right now, so I gotta go.
I want to see a finger.
He keeps saying that.
Yeah,
very real.
Let's see a finger.
Y'all have me on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Not
She's on my Facebook.
I know that's Photoshop shit. Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Show her.
Yeah.
She
Steve,
needs,
shut up, Steve. You tried to kill him in Thought Problems today.
I'm not gonna kill him anymore if he shows me her finger. I want to see if she's really existing.
Tune in
Maybe
next
it might be
time
the
on
tail.
Dragon Ball Z.
Maybe if Mikey didn't fail early,
it's-
he wouldn't be
it's-
getting killed.
It's cute. He thinks he has a girlfriend. It's adorable.
She's
So
really
our baby's
chill.
atheist.
That's so big as atheist. Somebody earlier was like, "Oh, you're talking about
Bringing it
atheism."
right on back.
Full circle. That's how it works here. Mm-hmm. No, it's funny is I got something on Twitter. You know, I check Twitter so often, and I have a rock atheist. I mean, when I say rock atheist, it's not so much a person who thinks a rock is an atheist, although that would qualify. But a rock atheist is also a little bit larger than that. It's just like an atheist who has the very base level. You know, I'm going to be an atheist, and I'm going to have the stupidest arguments and just throw this out there. And I'm trying to explain to him that about the burden of proof, and he's not getting any of it. I'm like, look, here's a logical proof that I have. I wrote this. I've had it checked and rechecked. I've had it checked by the head of the Cal State Long Beach mathematics and logic department. I've had it checked by Stephen Hoyt. Richard Carey agrees with it. Where is the logic failing? And they just ignore it. It's just bizarre to me because it's like, well, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're just making assertions. Here's my evidence. You asked me for my proof. Here it is, logic. Where's the logic fail here? They don't give me an answer. I don't get it.
Yes, you do. You know exactly why they don't give you the answer.
Because they have no idea what the hell I'm saying in my argumentation. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, this is drivel.
I love when people call it nonsense. That's my favorite.
The guy that said modus tollens, he called it, he said just formalistic nonsense or something. I'm like, oh, God, kill me.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, like I can sympathize with, like, you know, looking at all of the notations and being kind of intimidated by it because it's like a whole bunch of stuff that if you have never looked at it, you're just like, what the hell is this? I don't even know what this is saying. So I could sympathize with that.
Well, that's true, but I mean, then
like,
I tell people,
that it's just...
I don't know what the hell it's saying if that's the case. Like I Jack Angstreich one time, long time ago, came up with a proof, and it was a total bullshit proof. And I'm reading this. I'm going, this is nonsensical. This dude, this, and I'm thinking, Jack knows his shit, but this is fucking just bullshit. This is like completely just nonsensical. And all they were trying to do was get people to see if they could recognize if something was nonsensical or not, because it was that dumb. And I'm like, this is not even logic. This is just symbols. So if I don't understand something, I'll say it though, or I'll call it out, going, this is actual stupid, because.
Yeah, it gets people to think outside the box.
Yeah, no, I have nothing against what he did. I at least recognized it as this is bullshit. But there was some people that go, yeah, well, here's a logical proof, and I'm like, oh. Because I was like, going, dude, this is nonsense. What the hell is this?
Well,
people may remember that back in the day. What?
Well, with the babies being atheist part, I've actually had Aaron Roth throw that at me at one point.
Yeah, Arn's not exactly the most philosophically literate person, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, he Yeah, he doesn't like philosophy at all.
I hear the words by
He's-
definition, and I tune out. I'm done.
Well,
and the thing is, I'm kind of hoping that, because he talks a lot about the history of the Bible too, and I've talked to him about that a lot. And I keep telling him, like, hey, if you don't know something, if you don't have an academic source for this, just run it by me. Like, even if like I tell you something that's wrong, at least I'm gonna cite some scholarship for it.
Well, don't piss him off, because Chris pissed him off. Chris was on his channel, and that looked they were buddy,
Yeah.
but then Chris was like, "Dude, you're just wrong fundamentally," and Aaron doesn't like being called wrong, ever.
Yeah, like I try to. I mean, I really don't want to get involved in all the drama, but like I try to mediate as best I can.
Chris Hansen and a few others wrote a small booklet called "The Foundational Falsehoods of Aaron Ra."
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I want to. I really want to read that. The Kindle, isn't it? It? Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It basically, well, one's by IP, the other's by Chris, and the other's by Amateur Exegete. Chris Hansen breaks down where Aaron gets it wrong on biblical history. One of them that I can think of at the top of my head is one of Aaron Ra's claim that Yahweh was a volcano god believed by the Jews.
Yeah,
he likes that.
That one is just no. That one's just way
off. That's like
Absolutely
Horus being Jesus argument level.
Yeah, there is no documented source of any volcano deity believed anywhere in the
But it makes sense to him because he can visualize it in his mind, but that doesn't mean there's evidence for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the evidence is pretty clear that Yahweh was originally a war and storm god. That's
I thought it was
there's all this imagery.
Wasn't a Canaanite?
So Yahweh wasn't a Canaanite. No, Yahweh was not a Canaanite.
He wasn't a Canaanite.
But Yahweh was a separate deity. We don't know if he was from a pantheon or not. We have no idea. But we do know that over time he kind of gained the attributes of other gods in the Canaanite pantheon.
He became the one, morphing all the other attributes together.
Yeah.
Kind of amalgamation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me.
I think Aaron Ra likes that because he looks like he would be a volcano god.
I just don't know enough about those topics to like really get into them, and I would defer to Chris or you any day of the week. But I could tell you from my own personal experience, like and again, I like Aaron. I hope he fixes his shit, and I don't know why he doesn't take criticism very well. But for example, he wrote an article about me. He called me Mr. Agnostic. He got everything wrong. It was just bizarrely wrong. Anybody who read that was just like, dude, Aaron, no, that's not what Steve thinks. No, this is wrong. And I wrote something back to him in a kind of a sophistic way. But I thought to myself, this really demonstrates how bad his academic understanding of things are, because he just was practically wrong across the board. And yet he hates the fact that experts even disagree with him. And then he'll say like, well, I have a philosopher that agrees with me. And I'm like, great. What's his name? I never got one.
And here's the thing. Like, I love Aaron. He's a friend of mine.
Yeah, no, I like Aaron too.
Like, if I need to go to someone on biology, he's the first person I'm going to go to. Absolutely.
Phylogenetics.
And
I want to say,
well, yeah, sure. Evolution in general. Absolutely. And he can cite sources, academic sources for that just fine. No problem. But why it's not the same for like other topics, I just don't know.
Well, Aaron's, like you should said, with Aaron, his specialty is primarily phylogeny and biology, debunking young Earth's creationist pseudoscience. That is his main,
and he does a great job at that
specialty.
Yeah, he's a great creationist debunker, but he still has some bad arguments, and he doesn't want to give them up.
Yeah, but when he goes outside of that domain, he's virtually like Richard Dawkins with religion and philosophy.
Yeah, very dogmatic. And yeah, Aaron does get triggered. So does Matt Dillahunty by me. And it's weird that they do, because theists don't trigger them as much. I mean, they'll happily go after a theist when they know that a theist is not going to provide the evidence, especially creationists, right? Creationism is low-hanging fruit nowadays. But when they have something like me, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty well cited in my support for my arguments. I have literally collections of papers that I've read, dozens and dozens of papers that support my arguments, and I will be able to use them in any conversation. And they don't like that because they don't have any papers that support their arguments. None. Zero. They don't exist. At least if I've never seen them.
I think it has a lot to do. I could be wrong, but my theory is it's because they have such a popular base with like normal folk who are not well informed on these topics that if they transition out of that, it could divide the community as well.
And that's sad though, because here's the thing: I'm not beholden to any dogma, ideological concerns, or to any community that wants me to just basically parrot what other people think. I don't want to be in a community like that. I want people to have independent, critical thought of their own personal beliefs and arguments, and then we discuss them. And they're not interested in that. They think they're dogmatically right when they're not, and every expert has told them they're not. But the same thing, like with Lawrence is saying, he'll latch onto some biblical thing that he's already been shown is wrong numerous times. Remember the whole Pistivus thing and the whole, like faith and what was that with the Eric Mendez and somebody had asked him, what scholar agrees with him or something other because he was like, I've done this 20 years.
Oh yeah,
Pistis, and he's like, I've done this for 20 years, and yet in 20 years you haven't found anybody that agrees with you. Okay.
Well, on top of that, when you do try to address it, you go to Dan Barker, who has no specialty in Koine Greek. Then he went to Digital Hammurabi, and he has somewhat training in that, from what I recollect.
Digital Hammurabi, smart guys.
Yeah,
he's smart. Josh and Megan are very smart people.
Yes, very.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah, but even Josh Bowen did not really fully agree with Aaron's definition of faith, because like the way Josh was describing it, like say you're on a ledge as a child and your dad is right there promising you he's right there for you and is going to catch you. That is not a denial of evidence-based faith right there, because you actually have that guarantee right in front of you. So
yeah, I've never really sussed out their arguments on it, but
well, that was the just I got out of it. I could be mistaken. Maybe Josh Bowen could come correct sometime. I don't know, but that was the takeaway I got from Josh Bowen when Aaron interviewed him.
Yeah, well, like he's really, really learned. But Aaron is more likely to at least listen to somebody who has letters in the back of their name than somebody like myself who doesn't. Even though that I haven't really been I don't think I've ever been criticized by a PhD on anything that I've written that I recall. Have I? If I have, I do not recall it.
Well, I don't know, but actually, it's really funny that you say that, because Aaron is kind of the reason, like, I'm back in school. Like, he told me a million times over and over, like, to just get some letters behind my name. So
yeah, it's really important to them. It's not important to me. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to finish my schooling, but I have enough for a bachelor's degree, so I do have that education. I just don't have the certificate, I have over enough credits for a bachelor's. I learned something in school.
Yeah, and
I'm actually going back in school, so
you can usually tell somebody who's had some kind of college, right? It seems to be the case where most people that have had some kind of college, they just act differently, sound differently. They definitely are a little more articulate. They definitely have learned a little bit more in certain areas. And you can generally tell. And nothing against people that don't get me wrong. Not everybody's going to be able to go to college. A lot of autodidactic people, somewhat like myself. But people like Aaron thinks, for example, that if you don't have those letters, you're not really somebody should be listened to. And I think that's absurd. I know a lot of people that have no letters and that are very educated in other ways and very, very right on what they say.
And I kind of want to bounce off of what you said about dogmatic thinking and approaches and fan bases and stuff. I have seen a lot of people share some of my videos and like talk about their truth value and like how right I am, but then a lot of them, I can tell from what they wrote about it that they didn't even watch it. Like especially my video that I did on Lilith recently. I did like this huge 34-minute long mini documentary about the evolution of the Lilith mythos, and how I described pretty much how Lilith was not edited out of the Bible. It was a later rabbinical creation to account for a discrepancy in the two creation accounts in Genesis. And there was no editing involved. But people share that video without watching it. I can tell because they always say shit like, "This is Adam's true first wife." And I'm like, I literally said the exact opposite.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I get the same thing, only the opposite. People will comment on my video that I know didn't watch it, but they'll be like, "Oh, this is wrong." I'm like, okay, well, what's wrong with it? Oh, I didn't watch it. Oh, okay. They would tell you sometimes, I didn't watch your video. Okay, whatever. It's yeah. People are fickle, man, and you just, what are you gonna do? I try to read most of the comments, but I just have so many. But I don't want somebody sharing my video and misrepresenting what the video is. It happens, I'm sure, quite frequently to content creators. Yeah, somebody says, I thought Lilith was an attempt by the church to, quote, fix a seemingly continuity error.
It wasn't even an attempt by the church. It was an attempt by later rabbis. And the thing is, this full story of Lilith and Adam, being, the initial mates, and then, she wanted to be on top, but Adam was like, no, the guy has to be on top. So she got all pissed off at that and left. That comes from the alphabet of Ben Sira, which is a 10th century writing approximately, and that's CE. And the thing is, a lot of the scholarship that's done on it is they're pretty confident that it was originally even written as a parody.
Well, didn't she not only just leave him, but she went to go have sex with demons, or she went to have sex with something, a demon or an angel, and then have demons come out of that.
The thing is, that's even later.
Yeah,
that's afterwards. That's like the 13th century. Like the Lilith mythos had a huge development, and I kind of outlined that whole thing.
So the whole narrative that she was edited out of the Bible is just bullshit from start to finish.
Yeah, complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And like that's what the video is about. The thing is, I cite all of my sources, and it's 40 academic sources. I think I did a damn good job.
I didn't even know you did videos any longer. I thought you just did the Sunday school shit.
Nah, man.
Actually, I want to poke you on that. There was something. It was from Richard Carrier's work, particularly with his cosmic sperm bank idea. One of the sources he cited was from the Jewish Encyclopedia of Myths. I forget the source exactly, but the story goes that Solomon's kingdom was faltering or something like that, and King David, he's asleep one night and he has a wet dream, and the demon he impregnates the demon in the dream, and she gives birth to the king of Edom, something like that.
That
could be wrong.
See, I don't know what source you're talking about, but that would make sense because Lilith, as a demon, because the thing is, the Lilu demons, they were a class of demons in Mesopotamia.
I don't know what source
that later, throughout the centuries, became associated with things ranging from night terrors to infant birth and wet dreams. So that would make some sense for the mythos, but I don't know the exact source, so I couldn't tell you more on that.
I briefly looked it up a while back because Chris Hansen and them and what's his name, who runs Biblical History Skeptics, and Brock, who's an observer. He's a religious Jew, but
Brock is an Orthodox Jew.
Yeah, I know Brock. Yeah.
He's a smart dude.
He showed the source from that. I don't recollect what it is at the moment, but it's basically a tale from, I believe, maybe 2nd or 3rd century. I could be wrong, but Carrier basically appeals to that to justify.
Oh, hold on. I think I might know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Testament of Solomon? Because that's around the same time, and it's Solomon is trying to gain control over a bunch of demons. One of them is named Obazuth, and pretty much everything that's described about Obazuth is identical to Lilith in every single way, but it's just under a different name. And I don't think from everything I read on it, there's no good explanation for why it's a different name.
Just real quick,
that's the closest I can think of.
I put the link for the Twitch in the live chat. You can watch both. Just have a tab open. I need some concurrent viewers on to get affiliated with or at least partnered with. I don't remember the difference, but one of them with Twitch. I think it's affiliated first, and then it's partnered. But people can watch on Twitch too, or at least have it open on a tab. That'd be really appreciative. I'll put it in again. That's for you guys too. So, Nicole.
But yeah, I think it is from that particular text. But again, I'd have to go relook it up again because it's been a minute, been busy with other things. But yeah, I think it is from that text because the demon's name is not Lilith. It starts with an A. It just escapes me at the moment, though.
Oh, yeah, there are different transliterations for it. The one I used said Obazuth, but it sometimes has an A at the beginning. But yeah, the thing is, I recommend watching my 34-minute video because I include nearly everything. I stop at around the 13th century because that's where pretty much every single time a rabbi writes about Lilith, it just adds another part of the story, and that would have made it would have been impossible to cover it all.
Yeah, because I'm more or less studying. Yeah, because I'm more or less studying on this subject as well, but mostly the Ugaritic mythology and as well as history. So I'm more or less diving in that topic along the way.
Yeah, it's around. Man, I pulled up a lot of sources for that. That project took a long ass time. But honestly, it's the work I'm the most proud of.
Do you have a link to it? I'd love to check it out. Sounds really interesting.
It's already like one of my most viewed videos. It's either you can search Lilith in Myth and History or just search Milwaukee Atheists and it should be on there.
Cool, will do.
The next big project I'm working on is what happened at the Council of Constantinople. I think I want to cover all the ecumenical councils because there seem to be a lot of myths and there's a lot of misinformation about all of them. I already did one on Nicaea because holy shit, is there a lot of people lying about Nicaea? So I'm just doing my part.
Well, we know what happened in Nicaea. Constantine made Jesus God, and he chose and picked what will go in the Bible.
Man, I heard that so many times. Oh my god, I got blocked over that. It was on one of Steve's posts.
Who blocked you?
Some dude. He was the same guy who shared the Jesus Horus meme. And I forget his name.
Oh, that guy. I was telling people earlier, I had like 6 people block me on Facebook. I get about 5 or 6 requests a day on the average for Facebook requests to join as friends. I've actually been editing down my list too. If I find people that are fake accounts, I try to get rid of them because I'm pushing 5,000. You only get 5,000 friends. So I'm sitting about, I don't know, like 4,960, give or take, right? And so I'm constantly deleting people. And a whole bunch of people had added the other day, and like 6 people blocked me after I posted something, and they're like, "You're just wrong on this." Okay, well, why? And then I would give them all the evidence, and they would just literally just block me. And I'm like, this is creationist level argumentation here.
Yeah, seriously, it's a real shame.
Oh my
God. The thing is, when it comes to like misrepresentations of Nicaea, for example, like I understand how that would help an atheist in arguing, like if it were true, but it doesn't hinder anything in any atheist worldview if it's false. Like it really, it was a huge Christological debate, and then some other stuff, but nothing really changes. Like, I mean, I learned about it, and like I am still an atheist. Somebody called me a Catholic
Why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, because when I talk about the history of Nicaea and it doesn't agree with the zeitgeist, I must be a Catholic.
Yeah, I don't agree with the
Exactly.
zeitgeist either
Perfect
because
logic.
the zeitgeist is complete bullshit that has been demonstrated to be complete bullshit so many times. The only people that run the zeitgeist shit is like the very, very baby atheists that are just coming onto the scene going, hey, listen, because they don't know any other arguments, right? And so they hear something like that seems to make sense to them, and they run that. You know, they're not going to get into like argument from contingency, which is one of the more complicated arguments. One of my favorites actually, because that takes some actual thought. Bye, Nikki. We love you. You're my only one.
I love you too. Oh my god. Bye, guys.
Kissy, kissy.
Night, Nikki.
See, I figure if I tell all of them my only one, at least one of them will believe it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh shit, she's still here.
Wow.
Fuck. I do love her. I gotta admit, she's awesome. She'll kill me if I don't say that, anyways. But yeah.
Well,
who
it's
can't like
it's so
Nikki?
black.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve.
Well,
I'm gushing.
Well, that's
Gushing.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally so black and white thinking. If you don't go along with the stream of thought, and you disagree with them, like on this particular issue or one or another, it's like, oh, you're just an closet theist. I don't see how
it's
that
a whole bunch of
follows.
bull. Like I don't understand like why people can't just have a serious conversation about these topics. Like it doesn't have to be grand conspiracy all the fucking time just to make your worldview work.
Well, because again, they're very again. The guy I'm talking to on Twitter just tells you his level he's at. Lawrence, his name is Sky Daddy Skeptic. You know you're dealing with a philosophical genius when you have a name.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that, right?
I see. I think that stuff is still hilarious. Like I completely understand the misrepresentation and how toxic it is, but it's still really funny to me.
And that's fine. I mean, the humor in it, but people think it's an actual argument or something. It's like, come on, this is stupid. Steve, Manya says, Steve, you love every lady on this planet. Well, yeah, I'm a sexist bitch, man. I prefer women over men. What can I say? I'm strictly, I'm that's some matriarchal bullshit right there. No, I mean, I like women. What can I say? Is that bad? People say I'm creepy for dating a 34-year-old.
I prefer you over men too, Steve.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll take both.
There you go. See, and I equal opportunity. I have nothing. I have no problem with that. If I decided to go that route, I'd have a whole new world open up to me. I'd double my chance of getting a date. But yeah, I'm very biased. Very biased toward.
We all know that.
At least I'm open about it.
This is true.
But I do have a few that I like more than others. Who doesn't, right? No. But it's so funny when people say that I'm like robbing the cradle for dating a 34-year-old. I'm like, she's 34 with a kid. That I'm sorry, but that's not that's a full-grown woman, and she is all woman.
Sure.
But damn, it's like makes no sense. I don't get it. People are stupid.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
like
much.
my last girlfriend was 34, and like I'm 25.
Ooh, that's even better.
Then I mean, people. Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's me, I know.
And yeah, people were like, "Oh man, she's so old." I'm like, "She's really not."
Wait, 30? You said she's 34?
Yeah.
And they said that's old?
Yeah. Like, I mean, for at least, in comparison, I'm like, no,
I'm just
no, it's all
mortified
good.
that 34
great.
34 women old women are in their sexual prime. Are you kidding me? What the hell's wrong
Yeah,
with
they
people?
are. Exactly.
I was gonna say.
So yeah, he's 28.
Oh, wait a minute.
Andrew's
How
28
old
dating a
do I
48-year-old. You?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you at about 23 and a half.
I'm gonna say 22.
The half is important.
No.
I was thinking, like, honestly, like 27 if I'm the asshole here.
Wow. Thank you. I just need the compliments. Thank you.
Wait,
I'm
Lawrence.
36.
Oh, well, you look great for 36. But Lawrence, he's got to be the asshole by going high. What the hell? No, you don't look 36 at all. No offense. People in the live chat going 18. You think you're
18.
So she's actually legal to actually like talk about these things with. So that's safe, right?
Well, I mean, you know that I'm prior military.
That's true.
And
Yeah, that's true. Remember that. Navy.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard. I knew it was one of those. But still, it's not. Yes, you know, it's still water.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 25 in the live chat.
25. Damn.
You look like a baby.
Apparently. I'm okay with that though.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I'll take it.
I wish
I was gonna say he's saying 34, and I'm like, I'm 36.
Nobody guesses like I'm only 23, but
like,
Can I quickly respond
I don't
to
feel old.
Trevor's question?
Because you're not. I've got socks older than you. Go ahead.
Steve, can I?
Yeah.
Okay. So Trevor asks, will you start with Apollinaris of Hierapolis Council, re-Montanism, or something earlier? I'm thinking because of how much like really weird politics were part of the culminating in the Council of Constantinople, I'm thinking I might start with like talking about just the relationship between like Athanasius and Constantius. That's probably where I'm starting. And it's a pretty complicated one, so I have to cover some smaller councils. And
I've heard some stuff about Athanasius. I don't know if it's true, but like there was some politics behind some of his spiel. I could be mistaken, though. I haven't delved into as depth as I have.
I mean, I'm still reading through all the stuff I have. Hold on just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 books on this stuff right now. So I'm still getting through them. But there was definitely, politics in all directions. It was mostly from what I can tell from the Eastern. Wait, were they Western? No, I think they were the Western churches that maintained like Arianism. They were doing the more political power plays and stuff.
Yeah, that I remember. Like at one point, Constantine was claimed to be Trinitarian, or at least as far as you could tell. But then he reverted to Arianism, and Arianism became the norm within the political realm. And
Constantine himself, when it came to Nicaea, for example, like a lot of people are still of the opinion that he didn't actually become a Christian. It was just a political move. Like I don't know either way, but from the accounts, he was definitely proclaiming to be a Christian. And part of the reason he held the council was to unify all these different Christological sects and come to some sort of conclusion. But he wasn't really bouncing back and forth about it. It was more Constantius, I think, that came to kind of from what I've read so far, and I've just read general summary stuff first. And I don't know why yet. This is actually part of the reason I'm reading so much stuff about this. Is there was like some reason that Constantius turned on Athanasius, and I don't know why yet. But that's the stuff I'm getting through.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little more digging in that as well, because
I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about. It's just like what people hear when they talk about, like they hear me talk about calculus or something. It's like I have no idea. The words you even use aren't even in my vocabulary.
I
feel so stupid when I listen to people talk about shit that I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I just have to go, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's enough to make me pay attention, but I have no idea what you're saying.
I have no freaking idea, man.
Yeah.
Just nod your head and go, sounds legit.
Right. Okay.
I'll just sit here and look pretty.
Right, exactly.
Okay with
That's what I'm here for, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. She's okay with eye candy. I'm okay with eye candy. That's what I'm here for. As Lawrence is here for. I mean, you think Lawrence actually has anything interesting to say? No. Look at his hair. Here's one thing. His hair. No, he's smart. I don't know why people are so weirded out about being appreciative of beauty. It's like I appreciate beautiful women and men too. I mean, I don't want to like date them, but I mean, look at Lawrence. He's gorgeous. You know?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna use that to jerk off tonight.
Thank you. Vegan Atheist is smiling, so she's not exactly arguing with me. She's like going, oh, look at Lawrence. No, that guy looks like. She's like, yeah, he's got it going on. See the twinkle in her eye? Yeah.
Steve, don't you know you're more my type?
Oh, this is why I invite them in. I love this. I get more attention than I've ever had in my life since I've been on YouTube with have long hair. I'm glad I let it.
It's not the hair.
Oh, it's not the hair. What is it? The brains?
It's the salt. It's the salt and pepper.
Oh, I was just talking about dyeing it the other day too. Leslie Bass was like,
"Don't you dare!"
And I told her the same thing. I'm like, no, it seems people like that. This is natural too.
Mm-hmm.
See, can we keep her? She can be my backup of my backup because I got Sweet, and I got Manya, and Nikki, and then I guess you. I got a harem I don't even know about. It's okay.
Can the harem play together?
Oh, they've got to. It's like mandatory. Yeah.
Well, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they're definitely down with that. I think especially on Saturdays. Yeah, I don't know, or Sundays or Mondays. I don't know, whatever they figure out. They've never all been in the same room together, so in real life. So I don't know how.
Because that would be trouble.
Yeah, that would probably be like division by zero. The universe would implode. Well, as Mikey said, Steve, be careful what you wish for, because they'd forget all about me, I guess.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, alpha women. Yeah, I know what it's like.
Yeah, a lot of get distracted by boobs.
Yeah, right. I mean, why is it like the boobs are the ultimate trump card? I don't get it.
Because they're boobs.
Everybody wins an argument. Boobs, you win. No, I'm okay with that. It's just like I feel like I'm a little short in that area, so I don't have that trump card to play, and it's not fair. It's literally some misogynistic.
You can
bullshit.
Change that.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I guess you could nowadays. Some matriarchal bullshit right there. Yeah. Yeah, everybody likes boobs. Even like gay people like boobs. It's just a material ontological fact. By the way, Jenkins, you've been quiet since you came in. I just kind of saw you lurking. What's up, buddy? How you been? Want to unmute and say hi? If you're talking, I can't hear you. Jenkins. Check your settings. I see you. Wave. Okay. What's up, buddy? Hi. Yeah, we can't hear you, but it's good enough. Somebody says, what's the latest on Katie Polson? Watch the first 20 minutes of the hangout. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut her down my hair. I like the way it is.
Basically, Kate Polson, in summary, is still running yellow journalism.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyways, well, time I guess we probably wrap this up.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, you kind of come in more often. Look at you.
Well, now
all the compliments
that you have my email, you can send me the link, and I will.
You still want those pictures that you were asking? Oh wait, that was private stuff. Never mind.
Come on, always.
I don't have any. I need one day I'll make one. I don't know, but I don't have any myself for some reason. Never have. Never. Yeah. What I do is I usually just get Lawrence's and I send them out to women. That way they're not too disappointed.
That way they're disappointed.
If they are, then I'll blame you, right? Mud wrestling on Saturday. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I'm down.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Vegan, you got anything on your channel that you want to promote or anything like that, or?
I guess I have an interesting video on Thompson's violinist that might be interesting to some people.
That'd be cool.
Check it out.
Somebody asked, who's that beautiful chick? Well, she's telling you if you listen. That's the thing with women, especially when they're beautiful. But you want to listen to them. The last thing they want to hear you say is, what the hell did you just say? No, you listen to them. So you had a video on your channel, a violin. What's the name of the video?
It's Thompson's violinist. It's my take on it. I kind of break down that thought experiment and I put my own little spin on it.
Oh, I don't familiar with
you want
that.
to check it out?
I don't think I'm familiar with that experiment.
It is a breakdown of it's abortion analogy, and it's basically you wake up and you are attached to a famous violinist.
Oh, I have heard that.
They,
yes, I do that experiment. Yes.
So, yeah, I kind of take my own spin to it, and
I am aware of that particular mind thought experiment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They call it a Duncan. What is the German word? I hate German.
I don't know.
Einstein
would
call it a thought experiment called a Gedanken or something. I don't speak German. I just know what it is. Okay, so anybody else? Steve, you want to say anything? You got anything to leave us with?
Well, don't believe anything T. Jump says. Actually, go read a book on epistemology and philosophy.
Not his book,
or
though.
take course. Well, if you are going to buy his book, only read it for just this one and only thing. Document everything he gets wrong in it.
People are going to have wet dreams about me and Lawrence licking each other's hair. Yeah, hey, by all means, I don't mind. I'm not like
I could monetize that.
Yeah.
Steve, if you ever come across the book, I imagine this one thing happening to you. You remember that guy who read Mr. Intelligent Design's book?
Well, that was
been the same.
Yeah, that was Red Eye. Yeah, by his book is, by the way, T. Jones' book out?
Not yet. I haven't found it on Amazon.
I mean, and by the way, I'm surprised he didn't say when he read Malpass's blog that just eviscerated him. I'm surprised he didn't go, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He does it with everybody else, right? He does it with me all the time. Well, Steve doesn't know what he's talking about. Steve has his head up his ass. And yet I'm like, wait a minute here. I said the same thing about his argument that Malpass said. I literally have said in a live chat one time, I was like, this is not this is not moral subjectivity. He's arguing for actual subjectivism. He's arguing, he thinks he's arguing for moral objectivism. No, this is subjectivism. He has it completely wrong. And Malpass, in the very last line of his blog, says the exact same thing. It's like, oh, God.
Can somebody send me that link or tell me where to go to see the conversation between Malpass and T-Jump?
Yeah, it's on the Ask Yourselves channel.
It's on Ask Yourselves Discord archive, AI Discord archive channel on YouTube.
Okay, I'm gonna watch
or
that.
Just type in Alex Malpass T-Jump and it'll pop up.
Okay, that sounds fair.
But just a fair warning, dude. Have a bottle of aspirin nearby, and a lot of alcohol, because what everything T-Jump says is you'll end up with a migraine afterwards.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this. This was an impromptu rum and coke. We're gonna have rum and coke. We're gonna have Caffeine Corner tomorrow with Bear Anime. He's got like 300,000 subs, and he hasn't had a video in about a year, but he wants to do another video, and he wanted us to kind of collab with him. So we're gonna give a shout out to him tomorrow. He's gonna give us a shout out on his channel, maybe get us some subs. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be talking about gaming stuff, so that should be pretty interesting. And I will see you guys later. Good night. Oh wait, Landon wants to come in. Wait, hang on one sec. Dapper Dino just said Landon wants to come in. So as soon as I'm starting to end this, now Landon and Dapper want to come in. Which is yeah, I can't turn Landon down. So I guess we're gonna have an extended thing for another few minutes. So sorry, people. Landon, come on. Let me give you the link, and then you give it to Dapper too. Oh shit, that's the wrong thing. So let me give you the link, Landon. One sec, but I got to turn off my window capture here because if not, everybody will see the link, and of course that would be bad because we have idiots trolling all the time. There we go. There you go, buddy. Come on in, my friend, Mr. Landon Kurt. No, one of the smartest men in the entire world. He should be coming in a sec. Then we can say hi to him. Dapper, come in here too, by the way. I'll get the link to Dapper. So we'll kick it for a few more minutes, I guess. Dapper. There you go. There you go, Dapper. All right. We'll wait for them. Oh, we have 3 people on Twitch. Yay. Need like 8 or something on Twitch. So go watch Twitch, people, a little bit. At least have it running in a tab. Landon, my buddy, my friend.
How are you doing,
Landon?
What's up,
and
stud?
of course, I was just plugging both your channel and Milwaukee Atheist channel over there on Dapper Dinosaurs.
Two of the best channels on the planet. There you go.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Landon. Love you, man. And I want to personally thank Landon and for these right here, volume 2 of Alois Grillmeyer's Christ and Christian Tradition. Fantastic. These are going to be so helpful.
You're most welcome. And say the nice thing is you give these folks, scholars, books, and they do scholarship.
They read. Oh my God.
They read real books. They don't wait for the book on tape.
Right. I like real books. I do, but I moved around so much that I've lost a hell of a lot of books in my life. I still have some, but books are amazing.
Yeah. So
I'm starting my collection.
Oh yes. I'm going to say for the drink, I've been doing Costa Brown's 2016 Santa Lucia Highlands Pinot Noir. Amazing wine there. Yummy, 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 yummy. But I do have real rum and real Coke up there.
We'll do that for next time, Landon.
It's at some point I got to get rid of that stuff because you forced me to get it, and now I'm
so. Let me update you on a few things. First, for those who don't know, Landon, myself, Astro Athens, who is a model / science communicator, who's been on the channel before, and she was a huge hit because, well, she's a model and smart. And Dr. Don Kroon, we're going to be talking about pulsars and neutron stars, I believe, on Tuesday.
It's on Tuesday, I believe.
It's on Tuesday, yeah.
It's at 13 Pacific, which is 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Pacific.
How
cool is that?
That'll help with my astronomy exam. That'll help.
I'll be at work, but I'll be sneaking in to listen.
Well, Landon, by the way, Landon only came in because you're here. By the way, just FYI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's keeping the viewers going. I'm okay with that. Look at that.
You have a cool audience as well.
I'd love my audience.
Although I also, by the way, I also liked Dapper Dinosaurs. They had really great questions. I mean, for example, the question I get hit with was AGNs and synchrotron radiation. Is there a what do you think is the impact of synchrotron radiation in active galactic nuclei? The spot around a black hole.
Yeah. I mean, I know what synchrotron radiation is. That's usually radiation that's produced from. I'm getting confused with Bremsstrahlung. Bremsstrahlung is
it is.
So
it is.
Bremsstrahlung, because they're related to each other. But Bremsstrahlung is technically defined as breaking ionizing radiation. When you have a slowing down of a photon, that's going to be changed to a vector. So if your photon changes its vector and has to slow down, it's going to release energy. That's called Bremsstrahlung, which is if it's rotational, then it's going to be considered to be synchronic radiation. So when you have a cyclotron, that's what you would be observing.
Yeah, it's a form of Bremsstrahlung.
Yeah, form of Bremsstrahlung. Yes.
Yeah.
Steve remembers something.
Hey.
Whereas
this is what I hear when I listen to Lawrence talk about like history shit. This is what I hear. Nobody understands what the hell we're saying. But go ahead. Yeah.
but we were talking about the fact that I was talking about the synchrotron radiation. Yeah. That around and near a black hole, the active nuclei is get more like inverse Compton type effects as opposed to I think. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't want to say that there's absolutely no synchrotron.
Well, the Compton effect has to do with breaking away of electrons due to photonic interactions.
Yes, and that's I think that's one of the things that the cosmic jets are. I mean,
I get hard talking to Landon. This is my jam, man. Vegan's even actually smiling. She likes this kind of stuff, doesn't you? You nerdy girl, you. You're such a nerdy girl.
So
read her shirt, by the way, Landon. Read her shirt.
Hats off to you,
there you go.
Steve, for not batting eyelash and coming up with
She's a nerdy girl.
But hats off to you, Steve, for having an intelligent answer to a very interesting question.
People think I'm dumber than I really am sometimes. I don't know what it is. It's okay. I don't mind. People underestimated me for years. I don't really always talk about shit that I actually do know a little bit about, except like DEF CON 1 science. But I probably probably know more than the average person, I guess, in certain areas. But I will tell you this though, you wanted people to stream different things. I am dual streaming to Twitch right now, by the way, and so I'm getting on that platform. So I have reached out to multiple different things because I know you want to have people not just rely on YouTube for your generous support, and I agree with you. I think it makes sense. So I'm trying to get on Twitch as well. So does that work for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And please, because it really is for your benefit.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for my benefit. I don't want to see you bounced out of your way you're communicating with your users because of an idiot or a collection of idiots.
I agree with you 100%. Somebody says that. Hang on. Hey, Dapper, what's up, buddy? Real quick.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy.
Yes. I couldn't tell if anyone could hear me. I don't even know what's going on.
Probably wasn't working before. That's why.
Yeah, probably wasn't.
Twitch.
So I'm just stopping in to say hi a little bit. I streamed 7-ish hours in the last couple days, so I'm not. Yeah. Okay. I do a show every once in a while with my friend Bent called Kent with Bent, where we just drink. Where I drink, he doesn't. And we just yell at Kent Hovind about how wrong he is about everything.
It's always fun.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
You get so drunk.
We did it. Nice. Yeah, but we did it for 5 hours yesterday.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was a bit overwhelming at the end. But yeah, so the reason I actually did it for that long is because the time before I did it, we did it with Cheshire. And at 2.5 hours, she was like, "I'm out, guys." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm out too." And then Ben was like, "Oh, I'm kind of disappointed. We cut it off soon or too early." And I was like, "All right, well, this time we're not going to." But yeah, I just wanted to stop in and say hi. But I'm gonna head out again because I am streamed out for tonight.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep it open too much longer. I want to talk to Sweet tonight.
Ooh.
Oh, please, you dirty-minded people, man.
All right, I'll talk to all y'all later.
All right, thanks, bud. By the way, he's a nuke too, by the way, vegan. So he knows.
Yeah, I am.
Stuff.
Excellent.
Yep. So, all right, thanks everybody. Talk to y'all later.
Peace, brother.
Yeah. So I just have to ask Lawrence, how are you feeling about your astronomy exam coming up?
I think it'll be all right because the stuff we're talking about now is like, well, it's like it's more general relativity and black holes. That's actually stuff I understand way more than the stuff we talked about earlier.
All right, wait. Let's quiz him. Let's think here. What is the Schwarzschild radius for the sun?
I don't know.
2.95 kilometers. You fail. Get the hell out of my sight.
No. So,
sorry.
So maybe we say, what is a Schwarzschild radius?
All right, we'll keep it easy.
I got no clue.
What? All right. A Schwarzschild radius is basically the effective radius of a certain amount of mass within a unit volume where photons cannot leave the surface or leave the object. So basically, you take the sun and you take the sun, the event horizon. So you take the sun, and you put it down to 2.95 kilometers. You squished it into that compact volume. Then you would have an event horizon, and anything past that event horizon cannot come out, including light. So
right.
black.
Okay,
that's the Schwarzschild.
I've never heard. Never heard the term before.
Its minimal density to turn into a black hole is
sure. We did cover that, but I don't know if.
But now if it comes up and you see something and say Schwarzschild thing, you can say, I know what it is.
There's actually a quantum analogy or something that's analogous to a Schwarzschild radius in quantum called matter waves. Ever heard of that? De Broglie wave. Very similar thing. It's similar principle. It's what's the smallest size per unit volume to exhibit non-classical or quantum mechanical effects. Yeah.
Okay,
so why does the Earth have 2 tides a day?
I know.
2 tides because the fucking moon is like what's the word I'm looking for? It's turning it into more of an oval than the circle.
Yeah, that's a good thing you pointed that out. The moon actually doesn't really pull the water as much as it does deform the Earth. And so it deforms the Earth that causes these tidal bulges on both sides.
Yeah, but the question is, say, well, why would you have the bulge pointing towards the moon as being the only tide? Why is there another bulge?
Well, because one is actually it doesn't point to the moon. It's actually lags.
Yeah,
it does lag.
Lag by.
Conservation of angular
I don't know by
momentum.
how much.
10 degrees of angular rotation.
Oh yeah, okay, but because conservation of angular momentum. But you actually have narrow points where there's no bulges, and then the
But instead of having one tide a day, because you said if you say it's merely the moon's gravitational effect, which is wrong, pulls on the water, and that's why you have a tide. Then that doesn't explain the fact you have 2 tides a day.
Because the Earth is out of round.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So the question is, why does Earth has 2 tides a day?
Right, because if the Earth is getting effectively squished, then it would be on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody asked me what game I'm going to be planning on streaming. Divinity 2 I want to play again. I'm going to try Sleeping Dogs because I want to get back into that game. And I've also got Arc Age, I've got Dragon Age, I've got Infinite Dungeon, and I've got a few other things I want to stream and try out. So, yeah, we got to play more games.
Landon, by the way. Landon, I think you might want to know this. I don't know if you saw it. I posted on Patreon like probably not even an hour ago. But we have purchased new audio equipment.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow! Because one of the other fun things to watch in the Atheist Sunday School is how many times the mics have to be replaced during the show.
Yeah, it all gets really bad, and then Chris is complaining about it. Doesn't make it any better. So,
so are you still doing stuff with Chris?
Well, okay. Right now, I was just talking about our Chris Prime. Chris 1 is Chris Hansen.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how we differentiate. Although I would like to continue projects with Chris 1 and Jim Majors because I happen to like our Unheavenly Hosts show, so I want to do more stuff with that. But it's hard with scheduling.
He's got amazing.
Welcome to my world. People don't realize how difficult it is to arrange these things. I mean, I had to arrange Landon, Dr. Kroon, and Astro Athens just to get a time that we could all make this happen. These are not easy things that just magically occur.
Yeah, and it's a spot where if you miss that gap, when I head off to the ledge continent of Australia, sorry YouTube,
sorry Red Eye, we know you're just full of shit. Australia doesn't exist.
Well, it'd be fun to see how much mind control they do on me, so that I actually will believe I'm there. That's the amazing thing about Australia. But yes, if you missed that thing, then you'd have to go later. But I'm excited to do a show with you and those interesting folks. So we're gonna have a good time. And again, it's talking about like neutron stars and white dwarfs and those sort of compacts.
So what? Okay, so this is to the audience, I guess. What kind of degenerative pressure is it for white dwarfs that is being held up by? What is that called? It's a type of degenerate matter. Go for it.
Electron.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, you win. You win the internet.
So yes, that's I would expect that one of the things that. And so, what's the difference between a white dwarf and a neutron star?
I know. Oh, well, you're asking me?
I mean,
yeah.
A neutron star is held up by neutron degenerative pressures. It's called the TMV limit, I believe.
Yeah.
I can never remember the names of that though. The what's it called? Toloff something limit. You're gonna make me look this up.
Was it baryonic degenerative pressure? Is that another way of saying it?
Well, there would be baryons, but I just use neutron degenerative pressure. But what's the name of the limit? It's the Volkoff limit.
Yes, and you'll have, but the neutrons are in the center. You'll also have on the surface sort of an electron,
yes,
nuclei soup.
Yeah, it's called the Tolman-Oppenheimer-Volkoff limit.
Yeah,
TOV. I mean, I can't remember everything, people, but yeah, the Tolman-Oppenheimer-Volkoff limit is what for neutron stars would be the equivalent to the Schwarzschild radius for a black hole.
Well, where some people only remember 5%, you remember 95%.
There you go. Well, I'm not an astrophysicist. I just like the subject,
Memorizing is a required skill.
But
acquired
skill. You know what's really cool is how much energy actually released. Like for a neutron star, there's a crust that's, like you said, there's a soup that's produced. It's the quantum mechanically, the neutron star acts as like a single neutron, but there's a quake that can produce, and we're talking a small amount of movement. I mean, we're talking we're talking micrometers.
Micron.
Yeah, will be enough energy to be felt light years away. That's a lot of freaking energy. So when these two neutron stars combine and they form like a black hole, that gravitational wave is just ridiculously powerful. You've got like 3 solar masses being introduced as a gravitational wave, and we can sense it billions of years later. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and then the funny thing, when we did the simulation of neutron star collisions, one of the things that we found that the space gets really warped as these things spiral on each other. I mean, it starts to get ultra twisted, and the neutron stars, we start off with sort of spherical size neutron stars. By the time they're getting a point of colliding, they look sort of like those yellow crookneck squash where they have this bulb and this tail that's dragged back. And when the neutron stars actually merge, the tails snap off and eject out at relativistic speeds. And one of the things in particular that our model, that the simulation said, was that you have a non-trivial amount of neutrons being flung out from a collision of 2 neutron stars. And those neutrons then slow down and decay. And so you get the electron-positron antineutrino burst that comes from the neutrons decays, right? So you can get something like a solar mass or more of neutrons being flung out along the plane of rotation, that the half-lives around 1,000 seconds start decaying, and you get this crazy radiation burst. And so people are looking for those radiation bursts associated with the neutron star mergers.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual because neutrons in a bound state has a different decay rate than an unbounded state.
Yes.
Yeah, and it would be a beta type decay. It'd be a electron, positron, and antineutrino conservation of lepton number, angular momentum, and a whole bunch of other factors that go into that. But Oskar Spadash, I do kind of remember something. But Oskar Spadash, $10 to Landon. Have you ever done an REU research experience for undergraduates? And if so, what was your experience like? Would you recommend an ERU over an internship?
I mean, I think I'm somewhat biased because my interns really gain a lot of stuff. Okay, so our internship, for example, they're paid interns, they're not volunteers, and they're also an internship for a full year. I think if you're going to do an internship, you want to have something where there's a length of time you can actually seriously dig into things, as opposed to being there long enough to wash a couple of whiteboards and move on. You want to be able to interact with people and to really dig in there. So I think if you can find a really good internship program that has a length of time with people that you have something to learn from, by all means, do it.
I agree. I think I just know on an intern you don't get paid.
Well, so our interns, they have a free we pay for the room, and there's also a small stipend. They can go, so they can essentially survive in Silicon Valley for a year.
Any other questions for Landon, or we just want to quiz him on his astronomy test more?
Well, let's see. So by the way, Lois, congratulations.
Look at Vegan. I like the way Vegan sits there. She's just like this.
I think you might be ready for your test, because it's certainly a lot more lighter than the last time you took this course.
Yeah, because the last time I took this course, a good part of the reason I just stopped showing up was because how the teacher was talking was very reminiscent to me of creationist rhetoric. About us being in the perfect place around the sun.
God,
no. That was like, I've heard this a million times. You're not gonna fool me, you piece of shit. So
why can't I ever get teachers like that? The only time I've ever corrected a teacher, I took physics in college after I went to nuke school, so it was an easy course. I mean, it was on electrostatics, and we did some nuclear stuff. And there was this one thing where he said about the nuclear reactor, and this was in the book too, and the book was just wrong. But he was talking about a pressurized water reactor. When you want to increase reactor power, you raise reactor rod height. That's bullshit. That's not how you raise reactor power. Just raising rod height adds reactivity to the core, but that's going to change your temperature average of the coolant. It doesn't affect reactor power. Only on the transient is going to affect that, but then it stabilizes back down to where it was before. Any nuke would know that. Dapper would know that too. But they try to make it simplistic, but it was just driving me nuts, and I was like, that's not how it works, But that's the only time that I've ever had even an instructor just.
So how do you raise reactor power?
That's a good question. You actually do that by steam demand. So if you increase the throttle and you have steam demand go higher, what happens is you're drawing more energy out of the system. That's going to lower your water temperature. So what happens when you lower water temperature? It gets denser. What happens when it gets denser? The mean free path gets smaller. You have more neutrons being thermalized because they have less further to go to get slowed down. And when that happens, you have the uranium, which is has an affinity toward thermalized neutrons, will absorb the neutron easier and more rapidly. That's going to cause reactor power to go up, because reactor power is based upon how many fissions per neutron life cycle that you're having, called the 6-factor formula. So if you want to increase your reactor power, you've got to increase your steam demand by making the water colder. That's going to actually increase the overall power.
Changing the density of the medium changes the mean free path of the neutrons. That's why it's
called a moderator and coolant, because it moderates the fact that as you get denser, you have more fissions being taking place, because it's going to absorb more neutrons, thermalized neutrons. Yeah. Does that work for you, vegan atheist? That makes sense?
Sure.
Oh, I like that. She's gonna be a new nerd cheerleader. I like this.
So but the other thing is, hey, if you're talking about that's not a reactor, if you're talking about a nuclear weapon and you're trying to and maximize power,
you just want it all at once. You just want to blow the load at one time.
Yeah, but you gotta go through those stages. You gotta go through enough shakes of the lamb tail, because it's gonna start off slow, but it's gonna build up, right? Just like when you turn on your reactor, you get that pulse, right? That comes from when you go critical. But in the case of the weapon, you try to keep that pulse, the exponential growth of that pulse, because in those last 10, 20, 30 microseconds is where most of your power comes from.
Lawrence, what is a shake, by the way?
What did you say? What is a shake?
Yeah, it's a measure of time, actually.
I've no clue. Never heard that measure.
10 to the negative second. 10 to the negative eighth is one shake.
Yes. 10 nanoseconds.
Yeah, 10 nanoseconds.
Okay.
Yeah. So somewhere in your for example, 7/8 of your power of a nuclear weapon occurs within like 3 shakes of the end. And so that's the thing, is you build up these devices to try to keep that the switched on critical. It's one of the reasons why a nuclear reactor can't go nuke boom. Right?
There's a whole bunch of reasons. But the main reason why a reactor is not going to go nuke boom is, one, that you don't have the geometric shape for it to go nuke boom, and you don't have enough fissile material in a geometric shape to go nuke boom. It's just not physically possible.
It's not supercritical. So.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you can. Well, here's the thing: a reactor will actually go supercritical initially. You want it to go supercritical when you're in transient stage. That just means your K effective is greater than 1. That you're producing more neutrons per life cycle than you are losing. That's fine. You don't want it to go supercritical for exceptionally long time, and you don't want it to go supercritical where you have this all your fuel being utilized at once, like a weapon. That's not good. But you do want this reactor to go supercritical. You just don't want it to go supercritical, what's called lower than the point of adding heat, because then you're doing it on prompt neutrons rather than delayed neutrons. And delayed neutrons actually slow down the amount of power output. And if it wasn't for those things, you just go off prompt neutrons. That's going to add criticality to the system way too fast. And you're going to have what's called a whole water accident. And by the way, I actually used to train people for this shit. So this is one topic that I actually literally trained people on in a classroom type setting. I have 30 people listening to me explain to them these types of physics on board ships. So I did actually train people in science. At least, people that don't think that I have any qualifications, which fine, but whatever. William Peterson, $5. I've been watching this Illinois Energy Professor channel lately. You should have that professor on. Yeah, send it my way. I don't know. It's nice when I get to talk science stuff with Landon, because I always talk like all the other shit with other people, but with Landon we actually talk about like some pretty interesting stuff.
So what else would you say would be something that a college astronomy student should know? What would be a general?
Well, Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. I think that should be, and things like spectrography. They understand how we analyze the complexity of stars. How do we know that the sun has hydrogen and helium? We're so far away. I mean, how do we know? Because of the spectral lines, and that acts as a fingerprint.
What is the role of quantum mechanics in a star?
Oh,
that would be another question, right?
God, I mean, well, even not even quantum mechanical stuff, but just you're having like in a star, you're going to have gravitational forces pulling the star to the center, but you also have gamma ray pressure pushing out, and there's this fine balance between gamma ray pressure and gravity that acts as this a dance between the two. And what happens when you start losing fusions? Well, you start losing fusion, you lose gamma ray pressure, gravity starts overcoming it, that starts winning the war. That's how you get a supernova, because it collapses because the gravitation, the gamma ray pressure is enough to equalize from the gravitational pressure.
So, what's a Roche limit?
Oh my God, Roche limit is ROCHE. What is the Roche limit? The Roche limit has to do with the moon. It has to do with, as the moon comes closer to the Earth, it's the smallest minimum stable orbit. Is that what it is?
It's the thing where it's part of where the object will degenerate due to.
Okay. So it's the minimum. It's just after the minimum stable orbit. So if you get closer than the Roche limit, then the moon would actually disintegrate.
Because it's got its own internal self.
He's making me think here.
Gravitational self-attraction, right? And so if you get closer to the body, the tidal forces start to stretch it out. So it basically is when it can no longer. So a Roche limit of a sand pile is at a different spot than like a solid chunk of metal, right? But it effectively is about the same thing. Is the
How many people in the audience knew that? And by the way, I literally pulled that on my head because I had to think back. I categorize shit. I actually have to think for a second. And I people have noticed I close my eyes. I don't do that to not show that I'm Googling. I'm actually like thinking, and I'm bringing stuff in recall.
Yeah,
that's how I do it.
He actually knows about 95% of the stuff, right?
Yeah, 95% of the stuff. Yeah, that other 5% I'm working on.
Well,
it's the total opposite of me.
Yeah, you have to judge for the extra 5%.
Okay? Well, let's get vegan for science. What kind of science do you want to talk about? What's your thing you like?
What's your favorite science?
My favorite science? Let's see. I'm actually more of a. I don't know. I love listening to astronomy and people talking about astrophysics and things like that because I find it very interesting. I wanted to do that when I was younger, before I joined the military. So that's kind of, when I hear you guys speak about that, that's why I kind of perk up, because it's so interesting to me, but I'm not smart enough for all of that.
Oh, you are smart. Okay. Somebody has a harmonic series. Ooh, that's a good question. I know what a harmonic series is. Anybody else? Besides Landon, because he knows everything. No? Okay. I'll give you. Here's a good question for you guys. Excuse me. When you're dealing with a harmonic series, I take a trip, and I'm in a car, and on the first leg of the trip, I'm going 40 miles an hour. I turn around instantaneously, and I come back the same route at 60 miles an hour. Now, most people will know that the average velocity is going to be 0 because your displacement is 0. Okay, but what was your average speed for the trip? So I went 40 miles an hour one way. It doesn't matter how far your distance is. Now, I will tell you the math is easier with 60, but whatever. But I went 40 miles an hour one way, instantaneously turned around, came back the exact same trip at 60 miles an hour. What is my average speed for the entire trip?
Over time.
Is it 50?
That would be incorrect, sir. You have failed. You have failed this city. You have failed this stream.
Right, because you're traveling. It would be longer when you're going 40 miles an hour. So,
okay, working on it. Get there, going. You're working on it. You're thinking here. Thinking outside the box. This is what a harmonic series actually entails. We'll see if anybody in the audience can get it. Vegan, you want to take a shot? Pull a number out of your
Nope.
ass. This channel.
My answer is always 42.
It's not just drinking, but it's educational as well because Landon, he wants us to be an educational channel.
So let's say if you're going 40 miles per hour for an hour, you're going to travel 40 miles.
Correct.
Right? Now, if you turn around and you travel 60 miles per hour back for that 40 miles, you're only going to travel 2/3 of an hour. Right?
So on one leg of the trip, you're traveling an hour and a half. The other leg, you're traveling an hour. So it's 2.5 hour total travel time with a distance of 100 miles. So what's 100 miles divided by 2.5?
40.
No, that's not. That can't be right. 1 second.
But I think you did the number's wrong.
Yes.
If you talk about if it goes 1 hour for 40 miles
120.
an hour,
Sorry, it'd be 1 sec. I'll do the math here.
It's 40.
No, it's not 40. That's not the answer. I'm gonna tell you guys. I know the answer. It's gonna do the math for you. Okay, so pick 60 miles. If you pick 60 miles, where I said 60 miles. So the first leg of the trip is 60 divided by
1.5
40,
hours.
1.5 hours. On the way back, it's 60 divided by 60, it's 1 hour. So your total travel time is 2.5 hours. But you've got 120 miles. So 120 miles divided by 2.5 is, that's the answer.
48.
48. So 48. Now, that's one way of solving that, but with a harmonic series, you could actually just say, if I remember the formula for it, it's 1 over x plus 1 over y. So it's basically the reciprocal of the two numbers added together, the reciprocal of those numbers.
So the harmonic series is 1 plus a half plus a third plus a fourth plus a fifth plus a sixth plus a seventh. That's what the harmonic series is. It's divergent because it goes off to infinity, but the harmonic series is basically the reciprocals of the integers.
Yes. So that's an interesting little tidbit because people think that they hear 60 miles plus 60 miles and they want to take an average mean, and it's not. It's a harmonic mean.
Of course, I think we really sneaky. They say, what's your net velocity, and the answer is 0 because your
displacement is 0.
Yeah.
It's actually a harmonic mean, but
yeah,
whatever. I said series, but whatever. Because you're right. The harmonic series is what you described it as.
Yeah. Now, by the way, interesting enough, that 1 plus a half plus a fourth, a third plus a fourth plus so forth. If you say 1 minus a half plus a third minus a fourth plus a fifth minus a sixth plus a seventh, that's the log of 2.
I'd have to look at that.
So instead of 1/2 fourth, it's summing the reciprocals. You're adding the odd reciprocals and subtracting the even. So 1 minus a half plus a third minus a fourth plus a fifth minus a sixth, blah blah blah.
I think somebody messaged me. 1 second here. Continue on.
So the other fun thing is that same series. If you talk about what's 1 minus a third plus a fifth minus a seventh plus a ninth minus 11th, you got the pattern?
I would have
1 minus a third plus a fifth minus a seventh, plus a ninth minus 11th. So it's the alternating sum and difference of the odd reciprocals.
Okay.
That's pi over 4.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that series for what. That's one way to get figure out pi. I've seen that. That was actually, I think Euler used that, if I'm not mistaken.
Leibniz.
Leibniz, whatever. What the hell's the difference? Yeah, you're right. Leibniz used. Okay.
All those Germans look alike.
Yeah, whatever. One German, another German. Yeah, I do remember that was the series for figuring out pi over 4.
Yeah. You can't always tell by looking. That's the thing. But
so, what about telescoping series?
Telescoping series.
1 minus 0 plus 1 minus 0. 1 minus 0
yes.
plus 1. Those are telescoping, and those are very similar to the whole using a what's called continual analytical continuation.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing behind the whole 1/2 plus 1/4 quarter plus 1/8 plus 1/16 of infinity, is negative 112 using analytical continuation.
Yeah. So that sort of thing is there's some really interesting stuff with in the case of the telescopic series, because that example of the reciprocals of numbers, like for example, 1 over n times n plus 1.
Mm-hmm.
That sum has weird.
Well,
weird properties.
that one is actually, isn't that what? Again, I'm just going to pull a name out of my ass. Used when somebody the story was like this, and I don't know if this was a true story, but the teacher said, "Here's a series." And he wanted them to basically take their time to figure it out, because it was like, what is it? The summation of 1 to like 100. And he used that formula to figure out what it was in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind that? Ever heard that story?
Yeah, I believe that isn't it described to Euler?
It could be.
The summing of the numbers from 1 to 100.
What did I say? Euler? Yeah, Euler is how you pronounce his name. Euler. Yeah. I think you did it. Yeah. But I don't know if that was actually one of those stories that you hear that actually did or didn't happen.
Yeah, but it's a good story anyway. It's one of those fun legends, right? Who cares if it's true or not?
Because it sounds cool. Like, it was the teacher wanted them to take their time to figure out, how to add this together. And he's like, oh, I just use n over, what is it, n minus 1 or something? Summation.
N times n plus 1 over 2.
Yeah, there you go. Simple tricks of the trade, I guess. Let me see here. I'm just catching up here. A lot of messages came in. All right, I'm gonna be. I gotta end this. I got plans.
Yeah, actually, I got stuff to do also.
All right. Well,
anyway, thanks for letting me come by.
I love this kind of stuff. I miss our rum and cokes.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have to do another rum and coke, because I think I have what, 2.
Count on it, brother.
Yes. 2 cans of silly Coke left. So
sounds good to me. All right, guys, appreciate it. Thanks for watching this. See us tomorrow, Caffeine Corner. Then on Tuesday we got Landon back with Astro Athens and Dr. Kroon. Space stuff. That's gonna be fun.
What time is your Caffeine Corner?
We usually do them at 10 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, and like I said, we're doing some game stuff tomorrow, talking about. So that should be pretty fun.
I'll definitely be listening in.
Yay!
On Friday, make sure you don't miss Friday Apocryphal podcast.
There you go.
Yes, because you had your first one last Friday, right?
Yeah.
So yes.
We are currently covering the Book of Enoch.
I'll get some links in the video description. For some reason, all my links and information went away on this particular video, so I will have to fix that later on. But I'm going to be too exhausted after I finish this to do it. So, anyways, guys, thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us. Night.
I need a drink.